Chapter 1015, Precious Bloodline. The liquid was emitting a green glow and looked extremely mystical. The pool wasn't very big. It was just enough for a person to lie in. Wang Xian's eyes were sparkling. This pool was located in the middle of the entire treasure house. It was definitely not simple. Wang Xian stared at the pool and a message appeared in his mind. The bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish, half-step void interpretation. Bloodline? It's actually a bloodline. Wang Xian's face was filled with astonishment. Following that, an excited expression appeared on his face. Bloodline, a half-step void interpretation bloodline. This is worth something. That's right, this bloodline was worth something. The bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish was of no use to Wang Xian. It was no different from a puddle of water. However, to humans, this bloodline was a huge treasure trove. Bloodlines were something that demon beasts and vicious beasts were born with. It was a gift from heaven. As long as the demon beasts and vicious beasts with bloodlines didn't die, they would be able to cultivate to the peak of their bloodlines as long as they had enough energy. For example, if they had enough energy and treasures, they would be able to reach the half-step void interpretation realm. 10 years ago, the wind-winged savage fish demon beast clan had been killed by the experts of East Sea City until only a few rank 6 transcendents were left. Now, only 4 years had passed, and under the enormous resources, a strong race had been born. The leader of the wind-winged savage fish had reached rank 8 transcendents. As for humans, they envied the bloodline of the wind-winged savage fish, so they invented a technique. The bloodline extraction technique changed one's bloodline to the bloodlines of demon beasts and vicious beasts. After possessing the bloodlines of vicious beasts and demon beasts, humans could easily cultivate to the peak of bloodlines like these demon beasts. They didn't need to comprehend divine abilities or break through shackles. As long as they had resources, they could break through to the peak of bloodlines. Although it was more difficult and required more resources than demon beasts, it was definitely a huge shortcut. The Draconid Empire was able to establish an empire because they had the dragon bloodline. Bloodlines would definitely cause people to go crazy on the transcendental continent, especially the bloodlines of the wind-winged savage fish. It wasn't easy to extract a demon beast's bloodline just by killing it. The extraction of bloodlines required the consent of the fierce beasts and demon beasts, and the demon beasts had to reach the peak of their bloodlines. There was another harsh condition. The will of the demonic beast had to be stored in the bloodline. The so-called will was the inheritance for the entire bloodline race. Only a demonic beast at its peak was willing to give up all its blood and will. Only then could the bloodline be considered complete. All sorts of conditions made bloodlines extremely rare. In East Sea City, 4 or 5 families had bloodlines. The Yun family had the highest level of bloodlines, and they could cultivate to transcendent level 9. The Yun family was ranked 5th in East Sea City. Even Zhang Fengying's bloodline was only at transcendent level 8. Even so, the Zhang family was a huge existence in East Sea City. A half-step void interpretation bloodline would definitely shake the entire city. I'm really rich. Just by relying on this bloodline, I can get a few billion middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. He took out an interspatial ring and placed the entire pond into it. He wore this interspatial ring on his hand to prevent it from being lost. Perhaps this bloodline had consumed all of Wang Xian's luck. On the other side of the treasury, all of it was the food of the winged howler fish. However, Wang Xian did not care. This bloodline alone was enough for this trip. Wang Xian, Ao Yao, and the rest took a look at their surroundings. After making sure that they did not miss any treasures, they walked out from the nest of the wind-winged savage fish. Destroy it. Wang Xian thought for a moment. With a shake of his arm, he landed on the ground. The wrath of the earth. Boom. 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 The surroundings began to shake, and the top of the nest of the winged savage fish began to crack. Boom. The entire nest collapsed. Wang Xian smiled and headed outside to meet Ao Jian and the rest. Dragon King, are we going back? Having obtained the largest treasure in the entire nest, Ao Jian asked Wang Xian. There's no need to rush back. Wang Xian shook his head. There were at least 7 to 8 caves in the territory of the winged howler fish. The value of the items in each of the caves was not less than 10 million middle-grade spirit stones. If he was not in a hurry to return now, he could definitely search here. Alright, Dragon King. The members of the Dragon Palace nodded their heads. Let's go. Wang Xian looked to the right. There were more than 100 winged howler fish heading there. He thought for a moment and headed there. If the group of wind-winged savage fish were really looking for humans, the people from the Amethyst Mercenary Group and the Void Beast Mercenary Group would be in trouble. With their strength, they wouldn't be able to deal with them. Wang Xian paused and hesitated for a moment. Then, he took out an interspatial ring. Ao Jian, consume all the wind-chiming liquid in here to increase your strength. The Fengling liquid was considered as energy. Even if Wang Xian consumed it, he would be able to obtain dragon qi. Ao Jian and the rest could definitely increase their strength after consuming it. It's the Dragon King. Ao Jian and the rest nodded and immediately consumed the Fengling liquid. Wang Xian was not in a hurry. He looked at the 11 golden swordfish sitting cross-legged. 3 hours later, a powerful aura erupted from Ao Jian and the rest, causing a smile to appear on his face. I had to consume almost all of the wind chime liquid worth 700 to 800 million before I could make a breakthrough. It will be too difficult for me to level up in the future. Wang Xian smiled when he saw the 11 golden swordfish had leveled up to extraordinary level 7. Let's go. It's the Dragon King. Wang Xian walked forward while scanning his surroundings with the dragon eyes of light and dark fire. After walking for 5 to 6 hours, he found nothing other than an empty cave. The territory of the wind-winged savage fish was too big. It would take at least a week to walk through it completely. Quick, everyone, run. As long as we avoid the pursuit of the wind-winged savage fish, we can only escape by breaking through the soil on top. Just as Wang Xian walked out of the cave, he suddenly heard an anxious voice coming from the front. However, a group of people appeared in his line of sight. What entered his eyes were the Amethyst Mercenary Group, the Void Beast Mercenary Group, and a group of students from the other mercenary groups in the Demon Hunter College. They ran over with faces full of fear. Among them, there were quite a number of people who were covered in injuries. Their faces were full of fear. Leader Wang, run quickly. We have a group of wind-winged savage fish chasing us. They are a group of wind-winged savage fish. Their strength is very terrifying. The group of people who were running towards them also saw Wang Xian. They were slightly stunned. A female student from the Amethyst Mercenary Group hurriedly shouted anxiously. Are they chasing after you? Wang Xian looked at them. It seemed that the group of wind-winged savage fish was chasing after them. However, what surprised him was that they actually managed to escape from their pursuit. Chapter 1016, would kill this brat first. Quick, Captain Wang, run. There are more than 10 to 20 wind-winged savage fish of supernatural level 7. Run, run. A few young men from the Void Beast Mercenary Group saw that Wang Xian was still standing there. Their faces were pale as they shouted loudly. Wang Xian returned to the cave and watched as they ran over. There were about 100 people in total. It was obviously dozens fewer than when Wang Xian saw them. Judging from the injuries on their bodies, they must have met with some mishap. Captain Wang. A group of people approached. When Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing saw the figures of Wang Xian and the rest, their expressions changed slightly. They quickly walked towards him. When the Amethyst and Void Beast Mercenary Group saw their captain walking over, they followed him into the cave. What's wrong? Let's go quickly. We might be discovered by the windwing savage fish again in about 10 minutes. An impatient voice came from behind and said coldly to them. Leader Wang, run away quickly. Zhang Yitian whispered to Wang Xian as he looked back warily. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. He looked at the anxious Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing with a surprised expression. What's wrong? He looked at them in astonishment. It's Wang Xian. It's him. He's actually still alive. I really didn't expect that. I didn't expect to bump into him. Some of the members of the mercenary group behind looked at Wang Xian and said in astonishment. Captain Wang, you should run quickly. Otherwise, you won't be able to escape. Xia Homing heard the discussion behind him and quickly pulled Wang Xian's arm. Why should I run? Wang Xian asked in surprise. Captain Zhang, Captain Xia Homing, where can he run to? Just as Wang Xian finished his sentence, a cold voice came from behind. He was holding a fiery red longsword in his hand. A group of people squeezed through the crowd and walked towards him. Their eyes swept across the cave and finally landed on Wang Xian. Snake mark. Wang Xian looked at him with a surprised expression on his face. Then, he swept his gaze across the group of people beside him. 7 extraordinary level 7 powerhouses. Snake mark, everyone from the Yun family, let's escape quickly. The winged savage fish is about to catch up to us. Zhang Fengying and Elder Zheng also walked in hurriedly. They looked at Wang Xian and said with a bad expression. There's no rush. A faint smile appeared on Snake Scar's face. The 4 extraordinary level 7 experts beside him stared at Wang Xian with murderous intent. You're really anxious. If you don't leave now, those demonic beasts will chase after us. If you don't leave, we will leave. Zhang Fengying said to Snake Scar with a solemn expression. Miss Zhang, if you want to leave, feel free to leave. A middle-aged man beside Snake Mark glanced at her coldly and said. All right, Wang Xian, let's go. Zhang Fengying gestured to Wang Xian and said. But he can't leave. A middle-aged man from the Yun family stared at Zhang Fengying with eyes filled with killing intent. This caused her face to sink instantly. Senior Zhang, Wang Xian has killed Yun Hanhai and the rest. It's normal for Captain Snake Mark to kill him now. That's right, Captain Snake Scar. Kill him quickly. Let's escape quickly. If we are discovered by the wind-winged savage fish, we will be finished. Captain Snake Scar, do you need our help? That's right. He's just a freshman. Captain Snake Scar, kill him quickly. Let's escape quickly. At the side, a group of students from the Demon Hunter College's mercenary group looked behind them and shouted worriedly. They were very worried about the group of windwing savage fish behind them. 10 hours ago, they had suddenly encountered a group of windwing savage fish and the brocade scale boa, instantly killing more than 30 people. If not for the help of a few transcendent level rank 7 experts, they would have almost been finished. It was also fortunate that there were a few transcendent level rank 7 experts. Fortunately, only 5 people could stand in a row in the narrow passage. Otherwise, they would have been finished. Even so, they suffered heavy losses. After running for the next 4 hours, they met Snake Mark and the rest. Snake Mark and the rest had 8 transcendent level rank 7 experts. With their help, it was much easier. However, during their escape, there was still a transcendent level rank 7 expert who was accidentally killed. Right now, they were filled with fear. This territory of the winged fish was too dangerous. They hoped that Snake Mark and the Yun family members could kill this fellow as soon as possible and escape. Do it. After we do it, let's leave quickly. Snake Mark looked behind and said to the Yun family's powerhouse beside him. Okay. A few middle-aged men from the Yun family knew the severity of the situation. They nodded and a middle-aged man with a long saber instantly slashed at Wang Xian. Zhang Yitian, Xia Homing, Zhang Fengying, and the members of the Amethyst Void Beast saw the middle-aged man's attack instantly and their expressions changed. That kid is going to die. Hurry up and die. You're wasting our time. The people behind them exclaimed excitedly when they saw the transcendent level 7 powerhouse from the Yun family making his move. Bang! The long saber landed. However, what shocked everyone was that a middle-aged man holding a golden long sword directly blocked the long saber beside him. Hee hee. Wang Xian looked at Snake Mark with a smile on his face. A hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. A powerhouse at level 7 of the supernatural realm. Snake Mark was slightly stunned. His face revealed a look of astonishment. The people behind him were also stunned and filled with astonishment. Even the members of the Amethyst Void Beast and Zhang Fengying and Elder Zheng looked at Ao Jian with astonishment. Weren't they all at level 6 of transcendence? Could it be that this middle-aged man was hiding his strength? I didn't expect there to be a level 7 of transcendence next to him. No wonder he could kill our young master. A hint of surprise flashed across the eyes of the middle-aged man from the Yun family. The killing intent in his eyes did not diminish in the slightest. A level 7 of transcendence? Snake Scar took 2 steps back and stared at Wang Xian. He growled in a low voice, so what if he is at level 7 of transcendence? Kill him. Kill that level 7 of transcendence as well. Kid, let me tell you. No matter who you are, you will die if you kill our young master. Another burly middle-aged man held an axe in his hand and hacked at Wang Xian. HMPH, even a transcendent level 7 powerhouse will die. That's right. There are 7 transcendent level 7 powerhouses beside Captain Snake. But that Wang Xian is really troublesome. That's right. He's wasting our time. It's best if he dies as soon as possible. When the students at the back saw this scene, their expressions did not look good. The 4 experts of Transcendent Level 7 who were standing in front of them also did not look good. The longer they stayed here, the more danger they would be in. Everyone, kill them as soon as possible. An elder of Transcendent Level 7 said to them. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the group of people who spoke. A mocking expression appeared on his face. Die. The old man who was holding a huge axe in his hand raised it up and slashed at Wang Xian heavily. Chapter 1017, continued. Bang! The huge axe emitted a thick, earthy yellow glow as it hacked heavily at Wang Xian's body. However, what shocked everyone was that another golden longsword was used to block the huge axe, causing everyone's expression to change slightly. Another transcendent level 7 powerhouse. Hiss, it can't be. This. There are actually 2 transcendent level 7 powerhouses guarding him. The surrounding students of the Demon Hunters Academy looked at this scene in shock. Their faces were also slightly embarrassed. The more powerhouses that appeared beside Wang Xian, the more time they wasted. Zhang Fengying revealed a surprised expression. Her gaze was fixed on the golden swordfish that was defending against the 2 transcendent level 7 powerhouses. Her ocular arts had a very powerful ability to see through a person's strength. She was almost certain that before parting with Wang Xian and the rest, the golden swordfish's combat strength was only at level 6 of the supernatural realm. There might be one that she didn't notice, but now there was another one. How was this possible? Continue. Wang Xian stared at Snake Mark with a mocking expression and said with a smile. What? Snake Mark's face was filled with astonishment. His expression slowly turned ugly. He stared at Wang Xian coldly and gritted his teeth. Go to hell. How dare you be so arrogant after killing our young master? This time, he didn't have to say anything. The remaining 2 experts from the Yun family, who were at Transcendent Level 7, attacked Wang Xian. The 2 of them, one with a saber and one with a sword, unleashed their best attacks and slashed at Wang Xian. Bang! Bang! At the same time, two sounds of collision rang out again. Beside Wang Xian, the two golden swordfish once again blocked the attacks of the two experts from the Yun family. Continue. Wang Xian looked at Snake Mark calmly and said to him. Gulp. Snake Mark couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He had a bad premonition in his heart. The pupils of the four experts from the Yun family, who were at Transcendent Level 7, contracted slightly. They didn't expect that there were four experts at Transcendent Level 7 beside Wang Xian. This was completely out of their expectations. The students of the Demon Hunters Academy behind him also shut their mouths. Their eyes were wide open and their faces were filled with shock. Their eyes flickered and they didn't speak again. Even the few Level 7 supernatural realm experts from before didn't speak. Continue. Wang Xian spoke to them. Snake Scar looked at the other three middle-aged men and the old man beside him. Kill them all. He roared with a slightly ferocious expression. The remaining three Transcendent Level Rank 7 powerhouses didn't hesitate at all. They attacked Wang Xian with the weapons in their hands. Bang! 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 This time, they were still blocked. They were easily blocked. How is this possible? Shihen growled in a low voice. His face was filled with disbelief. 7 underlings of a level 7 extraordinary. How was this possible? In the entire Donghai city, there were not many forces that could send out 7 level 7 extraordinary individuals. Is there more? Wang Xian raised his head slightly and stared at Snake Mark. He asked with a smile on his face. Cough, cough, cough. His eyes flickered as he stared at Wang Xian. He looked at the 4 golden swordfish beside him who had yet to make a move. He had a bad thought in his heart. Could the other 4 be as well? He didn't dare to imagine it. The students of the Demon Hunters Academy behind him also realized this. All of them widened their eyes. Obviously, they had realized this as well. There were still 4 people beside Wang Xian who had yet to make a move. If not, it's my turn. Wang Xian said with a smile. Beside him, the long swords in the hands of the other 4 golden swordfish that didn't make a move were emitting a faint golden glow. Wait, the wind-winged savage fish is coming soon. Snake Mark sensed the faint threat from the other 4 golden swordfish and shouted in a hurry. There's no rush. Let's talk after I kill all of you. Wang Xian stared at them mockingly. Boom! In an instant, all the golden swordfish started to move. With terrifying strength and a powerful level 7 extraordinary strength, they attacked Snake Scar and the rest. Dodge, dodge. Oh my god, 11 level 7 extraordinary experts, this. It's over, it's over. Who would have thought that there were 11 level 7 extraordinary experts beside this freshman? There are 4 more than Captain Snake and the rest. Behind them, when the students saw the sudden outbreak of battle, they hurriedly dodged to the side. Their faces were all extremely unsightly. At this time, if a sudden outbreak of battle occurred, what would happen if the demon beasts and fierce beasts of the winged savage fish and the others chased after them? Everyone's faces revealed anxious expressions. Commander Zhang, Commander Xia Ho, let's escape first. A young man could not help but say to Zhang Yitian and Xia Homing. However, the 2 of them did not move at all. They looked at the sudden outbreak of the battle in shock. This made their faces extremely ugly. They could not leave, nor could they stay here. With their strength, if they were to leave alone and were discovered by the demonic beasts, they would definitely be killed. Kill, kill. Snake Mark's face was filled with fear. He roared and the 10 or so rank 6 transcendents behind him braced themselves and charged forward. Ah! However, just as one of the rank 6 transcendents charged forward, a golden swordfish pierced through his chest and let out a blood-curdling scream. Snake Mark could not help but retreat, his eyes looking like they were about to split open. He had never expected that a prey that was like a lab rat in his eyes would burst out with such terrifying strength. Even he might die here. This caused him to be filled with fear. However, after only 10 seconds, 3 more blood-curdling screams were heard. A level 6 transcendent was no match for a level 7 transcendent. Furthermore, there were 11 level 7 transcendent experts. Merciless stabbed the heart. The golden swordfish let out a low growl and instantly cast their divine abilities in unison, attacking Snake Scar and the others. Axe Shield. Dark Slash. The 11 level 7 transcendent experts suddenly cast their divine abilities in unison, causing everyone's expressions to change drastically. They hurriedly resisted. A unified divine ability. Could it be that they are cultivating a unified sword Dao inheritance? Behind them, a rank 7 extraordinary expert revealed a shocked expression when he saw the 11 golden swordfish using the same divine ability. Assassin inheritance, sword Dao inheritance, saber art inheritance. This meant that cultivating a fixed divine ability at every stage was far more difficult for cultivators than ordinary cultivators. However, once they cultivated a complete inheritance, their strength would be much stronger. The golden swordfish had the bloodline of the divine dragon and cultivated the golden dragon transformation. The golden dragon transformation was equivalent to a complete inheritance, allowing them to comprehend the unity of the divine dragon. Whether it was attack power or destructive power, they were all at the peak. This was also one of the conditions for the golden swordfish to be able to fight above its level. Chapter 10:18, Let's Stop. Screams rang out once again in the cave. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. Looking at the cold faces of the golden swordfish in the cave, they could not help but shiver. It was too terrifying. Be it combat techniques or divine abilities, they were not something an ordinary rank 7 transcendent could compare to. They were as calm as machines, the golden swords in their hands carrying a special energy. 11 divine abilities, in an instant, caused all the rank 6 experts to die. Even a rank 7 transcendent was heavily injured, falling to the ground in fear. Seeing this scene, Snake Scar's face was extremely pale. He, who had always been high and mighty, felt the threat of death. He couldn't help but retreat backward. Wang Xian glanced at the people in the battle indifferently and looked at Snake Mark. When their eyes met, Snake Mark's expression changed instantly. His eyes revealed a terrified expression. Stop quickly. I have already passed the news to the Yun family and our family. If you dare to kill us, the Yun family and the Snake family will not let you off. Snake Scar's face was a little pale. There was no trace of his usual arrogance. He pointed at Wang Xian and could not help but retreat backward. Wang Xian smiled and did not say anything. He just watched the battle quietly. 11 level 7 transcendents against 6 level 7 transcendents. It was almost a 2-on-1 battle. It was a completely crushing battle. Help us and help us deal with them. After we leave safely, the Yun family and the Snake family will definitely give you a huge sum of money to help us. When he saw Wang Xian looking at them with a smile, he shouted at the 4 level 7 supernatural realm experts behind him with a flustered expression. When the 4 level 7 supernatural realm experts heard what he said, their expressions changed slightly. The 4 of them looked at each other and looked at the arena. There were 6 level 7 supernatural realm experts in the arena. If the 4 of them attacked, it would be 11 against 10. Although they couldn't threaten them, it was enough for them to protect themselves. Moreover, if the 4 of them attacked, Wang Xian might not dare to attack again. The 4 of them were hesitant. Once they attacked, they would definitely offend that young man. As long as you guys attack, each of you will get a transcendent level 7 weapon and armor. Snake Mark gritted his teeth and shouted loudly when he saw their hesitation. 7th rank weapon and armor. Their eyes were filled with fervor. 7th rank weapon and armor, these 2 treasures were worth 40 to 50 million mid-grade spirit stones. With their strength, 80 to 90 million mid-grade spirit stones, close to 100 million, was a huge fortune. Zhang Fengying and Elder Zheng looked at the 4 transcendent 7th rank experts and frowned. Alright, Commander Snake, don't forget your promise. The 4 experts gritted their teeth and spoke. Don't worry, I, Snake Hen, am a man of my word. Everyone here can bear witness. Snake Hen gritted his teeth, his expression ugly as he nodded. Taking out 8 Type 7 transcendent weapons was not something the Snake Clan could afford to take out in one go. However, their lives were more important at this moment, not to mention that the Yun family had to share the burden. Alright, let's do it. The 4 transcendent level rank 7 powerhouses nodded their heads heavily. They looked at Wang Xian and said, everyone, let's stop here. You can't do anything to them if we join in. The 4 of them took a few steps forward and held their weapons tightly as they warned Wang Xian. Hee hee. When Wang Xian saw the 4 of them walking over with a face full of warning, a hint of mockery appeared on his face. Let's see then. If you don't die today, it will be us who will die. I want to see if I can do anything to you. You. The 4 of them, who were at Transcendent Level 7, had a slight change in expression. They didn't want to make a move either. They wanted to settle this peacefully and obtain their weapons and armor. This was what they wanted to see the most. However, the other party had no intention of stopping at all. Hurry up and make a move. An expert from the Yun family saw that they were still hesitating. With a face full of difficulty, he blocked the attack in front of him and shouted loudly. Make a move. 4 experts at level 7 of the Extraordinaire gritted their teeth and charged into the battlefield. The addition of 4 experts at level 7 of the Extraordinaire instantly reduced the pressure on the experts from the Yun family. They heaved a sigh of relief. Wang Xian watched with a smile on his face. It was indeed difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time between 11 experts and 10 experts. However, Wang Xian was not in a hurry. Today, Snake Mark and the rest would definitely die. They are fighting. It will take a long time for the victor to be determined. What should we do? There is such a huge commotion coming from here. The wind-winged savage fish and the rest will definitely be able to hear it. If they come, we will be finished. Why is this Wang Xian doing this? It's clearly difficult to determine the victor now. Why is he still fighting? Damn it, damn it. The students behind them saw the battle that had erupted completely. They retreated once again towards the passageway. Now that the 4 extraordinary 7th stage powerhouses on their side had made their move, they didn't dare to escape on their own. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the crowd that was discussing behind him. A cold expression appeared on his face. Zhang Fengying, Zhang Yitian, and the rest looked at each other. They were also looking at the passageway behind them warily. Let's stop. We won't be able to determine the victor for a period of time. At this moment, the addition of the 4 transcendents at level 7 did not alleviate the pressure on Snake Mark. He said to Wang Xian with an embarrassed expression. His tone started to soften. You've softened? Wang Xian stared at Snake Mark mockingly and asked with a face full of mockery. Snake Mark's expression changed drastically. He gritted his teeth and lowered his head. Yes, I've softened. But I won't let you off. Wang Xian's voice turned cold instantly. The lightning strike wood in his hand moved slightly. With a swing, he attacked a level 7 transcendent. Whoosh! A sudden sound startled the only transcendent level 7 powerhouse who was struggling to resist the 2 golden swordfish. His body shook and his body was covered in earthy yellow armor. He wanted to resist Wang Xian's attack head-on. However, when the lightning strike would landed on his body and penetrated his body, he was stunned. He didn't take Wang Xian's attack seriously. In his opinion, such a young man was at most at level 5 extraordinary. However, what he didn't expect was that his casual attack was actually fatal. He lowered his head and stared at the thunderbolt wood on his chest with a face full of fear. His body fell backward heavily. His face was filled with disbelief. He died with his eyes wide open. What? However, Wang Xian's attack shocked everyone around him. Everyone widened their eyes and looked at the scene in disbelief. An expert from the Yun family had been killed. The balance had been broken. Chapter 10:19, To save his life. How is this possible? How did he kill that powerhouse with a single strike? Impossible, this is impossible. When Snake Mark saw this scene, his body couldn't help but tremble as he stared at Wang Xian in shock. That powerhouse must have been careless. The weapon in Wang Xian's hand is very powerful. It should be. The balance has been broken. What's next? The students at the back said in shock. The balance has been broken. Wang Xian had 2 more extraordinary level 7 experts. These 2 experts could join forces and defeat Snake Mark and the rest one by one. Before long, those extraordinary level 7 experts from the Yun family would be finished. Everyone in the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group watched this scene with an indifferent expression on their faces. They knew Wang Xian's strength. He was an expert at level 7 of the supernatural realm. In fact, at the beginning, the balance was already out of balance. It was just that Wang Xian didn't make a move. Now that he had made a move, the end of Snake Mark and the rest was coming. Take care of them quickly. Wang Xian said to the group of golden swordfish. Yes. The group of golden swordfish responded. The 2 golden swordfish that were free instantly attacked an expert from the Yun family. Ah! The expert was horrified when he saw the 2 golden swordfish attacking him. He was no match for them in a 1-on-3 fight. Go to hell. Sword extinction. The 2 golden swordfish snorted coldly, the golden swords in their hands emitting an aura of extinction as they charged towards him. The trembling golden swordfish's attacks became much more violent. Ah! The expert from the Yun family did not have the slightest ability to resist, and instantly fell to the sword. Not good. It's over. The expressions of the 4 experts who had just joined changed drastically, and their pupils could not help but shrink. We are not involved in this matter. We are not involved either. This has nothing to do with us. The 4 of them were horrified. They shouted loudly and retreated backward. Wang Xian glanced at them coldly and did not order the golden swordfish to stop them. The 4 powerhouses retreated. There were only 4 left in the field. The gap was more than double. Snake Scar's face was extremely pale. His eyes were filled with despair. When the 4 people who retreated saw that they didn't resist, they heaved a sigh of relief. They stood in front and looked at Wang Xian and the rest with fear. Ah! In less than 10 seconds, the last 4 experts who were at Transcendent Level 7 were killed. You can't kill me. You guys can't kill me. When Snake Mark saw all the experts he brought with him lying on the ground, he couldn't help but retreat backward. He growled in a low voice with a face full of fear. Wang Xian looked at Snake Hen and a hint of a smile appeared on his face. He walked over slowly and asked, "Hasn't your young master's mercenary group been trying to kill me?" What happened now? No, we were wrong. Please, spare my life. When Snake Hen saw Wang Xian walking over, he begged for mercy in a low voice with a pale face. Behind him, when the students of the Demon Hunters Academy saw Snake Hen's appearance, a complicated look appeared on their faces. Snake Mark had founded the Demon Hunters Academy's Young Master Mercenary Group, which was ranked at the top. His strength was incomparably powerful in the Demon Hunters Academy. In the entire academy, no one dared to provoke him. Which student wouldn't give him face if they met him? However, looking at his now pale face begging, everyone felt a little dazed. This was still the academy's influential figure, and now he was actually begging for mercy from a new student. If the students in the academy knew about this, their jaws would drop in shock. Is that possible? Wang Xian waved his hand. A golden swordfish appeared in front of Snake Scar instantly. The long sword in his hand went straight into Snake Scar's chest. Cough, cough, I don't want to die. He widened his eyes and looked at Wang Xian with eyes filled with regret. Because of Wang Xian, because of a freshman, he actually walked towards death. Regret, a strong sense of regret. If he had known this would happen, he would never have provoked this fellow. Bang! Snake Scar's corpse fell to the ground. The sound that was produced rang in everyone's mind. The surroundings instantly fell silent. Everyone's faces were filled with fear. They looked at the corpses of the strong ones around them. Their foreheads were filled with cold sweat. Hoo hoo hoo. At this moment, the sound of wind whistling could be heard from the tunnel. Not good. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Even the expressions of the 4 rank 7 experts also changed drastically. The wind-winged savage fish demonic beast and the brocade scale BOA are here. Run, run quickly, or we'll be finished. Run, seniors, let's run quickly. In an instant, everyone panicked and shouted loudly. Everyone in the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group also had a drastic change in expression. Commander Wang, that group of demonic beasts and ferocious beasts are chasing us. Among them, there are 20 existences at Transcendent Level 7. Let's run quickly. Zhang Fengying quickly said to Wang Xian. Follow me, don't worry. Wang Xian looked behind him. As expected, in his line of sight, more than 100 demonic beasts were rushing over aggressively. All right. Zhang Fengying took a deep look at the group of golden swordfish beside Wang Xian and nodded her head heavily. Elder Zheng, Xia Homing, and the rest also heaved a sigh of relief. With Wang Xian around, their safety could still be guaranteed. Commander Wang, can we come with you? A student from the Demon Hunter College heard Wang Xian's words and his expression changed slightly. He quickly asked him. His words made all the students from the Demon Hunter College around him look at Wang Xian with a hopeful expression. Commander Wang, we are all students from the Demon Hunter College. If we can help our classmates outside, we will help. What do you think? One of the leaders of the mercenary group continued with a smile on his face. Even the 4 extraordinary level 7 powerhouses were looking at Wang Xian with anticipation. When he saw the group of people looking at him, Wang Xian smiled. His smile was filled with mockery. You guys? What does it have to do with you guys? What does your life and death have to do with us? He looked at everyone mockingly. The faces of the young men from the Demon Hunters Academy changed slightly. They looked extremely embarrassed. Captain Wang Xian, please. Seeing that we are all students from the Demon Hunters Academy, please help us this time. That's right, that's right. We are all students. When we return to the academy in the future, you can come and look for us if you need anything, Captain Wang. If it really doesn't work out, we can take out the spirit stones. I hope that student Wang Xian can help us get through this difficult time. All the students hurriedly said to Wang Xian. The people from the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group looked at them and turned to Wang Xian in silence. Wang Xian's gaze swept across all of them and followed closely to the passage. The wind-winged savage fish and the Jinlin boa have arrived. I wonder how many of you will be able to survive. Chapter 1020, fled in despair and returned with a full load. The wind-winged savage fish and the Jinlin boa have arrived. I wonder how many of you will be able to survive. When Wang Xian's voice rang out, everyone was stunned. Looking at the wind-winged savage fish and the Jinlin boa that had entered their sight, a strong murderous aura came gushing towards them. Everyone had terrified expressions on their faces. You. Why? Why didn't you save them? A young man shouted at Wang Xian with a face full of anger. Why? When Wang Xian heard his words, a mocking expression appeared on his face. He didn't bother with them at all. He remembered that just now, a group of them mocked Snake Mark and the rest to kill him quickly so that they wouldn't waste any time. They looked at him in annoyance and wished that he could be killed. In fact, the 4 extraordinary level 7 powerhouses who were with them helped Snake Mark and the rest. For all sorts of reasons, if Wang Xian still saved them, he would be too stupid. When he was in trouble just now, they gloated over his misfortune. Now, they still wanted him to save them. It was unknown if they felt that they were stupid or if they were stupid. Hee, let's go. Wang Xian looked at them mockingly and said to the amethyst and void beasts. With a wave of his hand, he created a huge hole in the sky. With a leap, he leaped up. Go, go! Zhang Fengying shouted softly. The rest of them followed closely behind and flew up. Ao Jian and the rest packed up the corpses and followed closely behind. Run! We'll follow too. Hurry up, the demonic beasts are coming. The students of the Demon Hunters Academy scrambled to follow Wang Xian and the rest as they jumped up. Let's go first. Wang Xian sensed that the rest of them were following him. With a mocking smile on his face, he said to Zhang Fengying and the rest. Okay. Everyone from the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group hurriedly followed behind Wang Xian. Hurry up and escape with them. At the back, the members of the Demon Hunters Academy saw Wang Xian and the rest and wanted to follow them immediately. Boom! 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 Ha! If you dare to follow us, die! The 11 golden swordfish who were at the back brandished the long swords in their hands and slashed at the ground in front of them. The huge sword ray instantly covered an area of 1,000 meters. The students who followed behind were shocked and quickly retreated in fear. He actually didn't let us follow behind. He wants us to become food for demonic beasts and fierce beasts. He's so ruthless. Damn it, we're finished. We actually followed them out of the tunnel. The students were intimidated by Ao Jian and the others' attacks, and their faces were filled with fear. When they followed them out, the demonic beasts behind them had already chased after them. In the vast area, 20 demonic beasts at Transcendent level rank 7 could easily eat all of them. Run quickly. The 4 Transcendent level rank 7 experts' faces were extremely gloomy. At this moment, they completely ignored the students behind them and directly fled into the distance. Ah! They've come out. At this moment, a miserable cry was heard. One after another, the wind-winged savage fish and the brocade scale boa drilled out of the cave and rapidly pounced towards the surrounding students. The miserable cry instantly sounded. The strength of their group was completely inferior to that of the demonic beasts and fierce beasts. They could only frantically flee in their surroundings. As for who could escape, it would be their luck. The members of the Amethyst and Void Beast mercenary group who were fleeing in front heard the screams behind them. Their faces turned pale. This time, they were lucky to have met Wang Xian. Otherwise, even if they managed to escape in the end, they would have lost quite a number of people. They had no sympathy for the students of the Demon Hunters Academy. They had witnessed what had happened just now. It was reasonable that Wang Xian did not save them. However, just as Wang Xian and the rest were flying towards the direction of Donghai City, they were in the Wind Chime Forest. One after another, the wind-winged savage fish and the Jinlin boa were crazily hunting down the Demon Hunters Academy students who were fleeing in all directions as well as the few extraordinary 6th and 7th stage powerhouses. In the sky above them, 21 strange demons quietly stood in the air and watched this scene. A group of Demon Hunters Academy students were quickly killed. In less than 10 minutes, out of the 70 to 80 people, only 7 to 8 managed to escape from here. As for whether they could safely return to East Sea City, it was still unknown. Do it! Ao Yao saw all the wind-winged savage fish and the brocade scale boa gathered together once again and prepared to head into the nest. Ao Yao's order sounded. In an instant, a miserable cry sounded again. However, unlike the miserable cry just now, this time, it was demon beasts and fierce beasts. A group of strange demons, with Ao Yao who was at Transcendent Level 9, could hunt more than 100 demon beasts and fierce beasts at an extremely fast speed. In less than 5 minutes, all the Windwing Savage Fish and the Brocade Scale Boa were wiped out. At this point, the Windwing Savage Fish clan was completely wiped out. This was something that all the mercenary groups in East Sea City did not know. Pack up the corpses and let's go back. Ao Yao ordered all the strange demons. Yes, leader. The strange demons immediately nodded and began to clean up the scene. The corpses of demon beasts, fierce beasts, and humans were all stored in their interspatial rings. Now, there were 500 to 600 corpses in their interspatial rings. If they returned to the Dragon Palace, they could refine a lot of dragon blood. Phew, I didn't expect the territory of the Wind-Wing Savage Fish to be so dangerous. There are 20 demonic beasts at Transcendent Level 7. Fuck, these guys are really cunning. On the sea, the members of the Amethyst and Void Beasts flew out from the bottom of the sea. When they came to the sky, Xia Homing looked behind and said with a face full of fear. It's all thanks to Commander Wang this time. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble just now. Zhang Yitian looked at Wang Xian and thanked him. Zhang Fengying was also looking at Wang Xian and the 11 indifferent golden swordfish behind him with a curious expression. Just now, the 11 golden swordfish had shocked them. 11 underlings of an extraordinary 7th level. Such strength was already very strong in Donghai City. He wondered if he had a powerful background behind him. Wang Xian smiled at the side. This time, he had to thank them. If it wasn't for the invitation from the Amethyst mercenary group, he wouldn't have been able to reap such a huge harvest. After this, if all the items were exchanged for resources, Wang Xian's strength and the strength of the group of strange demons would receive another huge boost. After his strength increased further, Wang Xian could consider transferring the Dragon Palace to the Transcendence Continent. With their strength, they could definitely protect the Dragon Palace. When the Dragon Palace descended to the Transcendence Continent, it would be the time for them to improve rapidly. Chapter 1021, told them to leave first. Phew, we're here. I didn't expect that our trip to the territory of the winged fish would almost cost us our lives. When everyone saw Donghai City not far away, Xia Homing heaved a sigh of relief and said with a smile. Did you guys get anything? Wang Xian asked them. No, we didn't get anything. The territory of the winged fish is too complicated. We've been walking around for more than 10 hours and didn't encounter anything at all. This time, they stayed in the territory of the Windwing Savage Fish for 2 days. Zhang Yitian shook his head with a bitter expression. They thought that they would be able to gain something. They didn't expect that not only did they not gain anything, but there were also 2 to 3 sisters who were severely injured. I'll give these to you guys as your reward for bringing me here. Wang Xian casually threw them 5 to 6 extraordinary level 6 weapons and armor. This. Zhang Yitian was stunned for a moment before he took it directly. He looked surprised and asked, Captain Wang, did you gain anything? I guess so. Wang Xian replied indifferently. To be able to throw out 6 extraordinary level 6 equipment so casually, and you even said that it was alright. You must have obtained a lot of good stuff. Zhang Fengying looked at him and curled her lips. She sized him up from head to toe. Hee hee. Wang Xian smiled. This time, he had not only gained a lot, he had also gained a lot. At least you have some conscience. Xiao Tian, take it. Zhang Fengying felt a little indignant when she saw his smug look. At the deep pit in the cave, she was extremely displeased that Wang Xian had ditched them. Wang Xian smiled nonchalantly. Xia Homing, who was at the side, looked at him with envy. Wang Xian didn't give them anything because they were not the ones who sent the invitation. In short, they had returned empty-handed this time. I didn't expect you to hide it so well. However, you should be more careful in the future. The Yun family has an extraordinary level 9 powerhouse. Zhang Fengying reminded him. Don't worry. If you have any good missions in the future, you can contact me. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. HMPH, who would still contact you? Eat it all. Zhang Fengying glanced at him. Hey, you must have heard about the auction in 10 days. The Phoenix Elixir and Weapon Workshop, the Holy Item Forging Workshop, and the Life and Death Elixir Workshop are holding an auction at the same time. This is going to be lively. The items auctioned this time are simply too crazy. Weapons and elixirs of Transcendent Level 9 are being sold. However, it's obvious that Feng Xian is fighting against the Holy Relic and Life and Death. Feng Xian is no match for them at all. It's hard to say. The power behind Feng Xian is not simple either. As soon as he entered the city, Wang Xian heard the discussions around him. Auction. Wang Xian heard their discussions and recalled what Supervisor Yi told him last time. Feng Xian was going to hold an auction. However, what he didn't expect was that the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the Life and Death Forging Workshop were going to jointly hold an auction. This was obviously targeted at Feng Xian. The 3 major shops in Donghai City are holding an auction at the same time. Clearly, there is a lot of competition. There should be a lot of treasures in this auction. Zhang Fengying also heard the discussions around them and whispered, it should be considered a relatively big auction event in recent years. We can go and take a look then and buy some treasures. Zhang Yitian nodded his head and said. If it's really a competition between the 3 big shops, it will be very beneficial to the people of Donghai City. Zhang Fengying nodded her head. Alright, everyone, I'll be leaving first. Wang Xian said to them. Come, let's leave a message. Zhang Fengying walked directly to Wang Xian's side and said to him. Alright. Wang Xian nodded and left a communication stone plate mark so that they could contact each other directly in the future. Wang Xian looked at the bustling streets and hesitated for a moment. Then, he walked straight to the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. When he arrived at the front of their shop, Wang Xian realized that there were many people entering and exiting the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. There wasn't a single person in the store compared to the last time. This made a huge difference. There was a signboard at the entrance of Fengxian's store. It announced that Fengxian would be holding a grand auction in 10 days. Wang Xian looked over and walked straight in. The staff members in the store were busy and didn't notice Wang Xian's arrival. Is your supervisor Yi here? Wang Xian walked straight to a staff member and asked him. Supervisor Yi. Young Master Wang, it's you. Our supervisor Yi and the manager have gone out. Please come in, please come in. When the staff member saw Wang Xian, he immediately greeted him with a warm expression and said respectfully. This young man in front of them was their master. Regardless of whether it was the manager or supervisor Yi, they had to be more careful in the future. Our manager Yi will be here soon. Young master, please take a seat inside. All right. Wang Xian nodded and walked inside. Young master, please, let me pour you some tea. The staff invited Wang Xian to the living room inside and gestured to him. Wang Xian entered and realized that there were other people inside. 3 girls and a young man. These 3 girls looked extremely beautiful. There was a special aura about them. The young man was also very handsome. The 4 of them had a hint of arrogance on their faces. 11 golden swordfish followed him in. Wang Xian found a seat and sat down. Ao Jian and the rest stood at the side. Young master, please wait here for a while. The staff member said enthusiastically. Wait. Suddenly, the young man in the room saw Wang Xian and the rest enter. He waved his hand and said, we have something important to discuss here. Let them leave first. Young Master Hua. This. When the staff member heard the young man's words, he was obviously very stunned. He quickly said, "Didn't you hear what I said?" The young man interrupted him directly and said coldly, "This." When the staff member heard his words, he revealed an embarrassed expression. He looked at Wang Xian with an apologetic expression. "Young Master Wang, I'm sorry. Why don't you wait outside first? Or I can tell Supervisor Yi and Manager Yi later." "Who are they?" Wang Xian frowned slightly. As an important customer of Feng Xian, he was actually chased out from the shop. This made him extremely displeased. If this wasn't Feng Wan's shop, would he help Feng Xian this much? They are people from our shop," the staff member said with a bad expression. "Is this how the people from your shop treat their customers?" Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and looked at the young man in the room. "Customers? As long as we have good stuff, we won't be short of customers. The so-called customers are just each having their own needs. HMPH, hurry up and get out." When the young man heard Wang Xian's words, an impatient look appeared on his face as he said coldly. Chapter 1022, was in a bad mood. All right. When Wang Xian heard what he said, he was in a bad mood. Even if this was Feng Xian, even if he knew this was Feng Wan's shop. However, how could I, Wang Xian, be in a good mood when someone in your shop treated me like this? He turned around and led Ao Jian and the rest away from Feng Xian. "Hey, young master! Young master!" The staff member shouted at Wang Xian anxiously. However, Wang Xian ignored him. The young man in the room was obviously the higher-ups of Feng Xian. He could not understand why Feng Wan would let a foolish guy become the higher-ups of Feng Xian. "I wanted to help you initially. Since your subordinates are so foolish, I won't help you anymore. Develop well and see you in the future." Wang Xian mumbled. If he didn't help Feng Xian, he would be able to gain even more benefits. "Brother Huiyuan, if our master finds out that you have driven a customer away like this, he will definitely punish you." At this moment, in the living room of Feng Xian's shop, a girl said to the young man. "HMPH, this bunch of fellows. Wherever there is a discount, they will go to the shop where there are things they need. As long as we have their needs, they will obediently roll over," the young man said with disdain. A few days ago, there was not much business in Donghai City's Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop. However, when they arrived, their business had already surpassed the other two shops. He did not have a good impression of this group of customers who took advantage of the situation. He was even a little angry. "That's true." A few girls nodded their heads. Manager E." At this moment, 6 people walked into the Fengxian Pill and Weapons Workshop. The staff member who received Wang Xian earlier immediately greeted them. "All right, take care of the customers." Among the 6 people, besides Manager Yi and the manager of the shop, there were 4 other people, 3 women and a middle-aged man. They had a special temperament and their eyes were slightly red. It was very peculiar. Experienced people could realize that they were not actually human. The shopkeeper said to the staff member, then respectfully gestured to the 4 people and let them in. The staff member hesitated for a moment, then shouted again, "Shopkeeper, Supervisor E, I have something to tell you." "Huh? What is it?" Manager E saw that the staff member was still reporting to him and asked doubtfully. "Just now, young Master Wang came to our shop," the staff member said with a bad expression. "Oh. He came. Is he still there?" Manager E quickly asked. "He has already left. I brought young Master Wang and the others to the reception hall and was chased away by the lords inside," the staff member said with a bitter face. "What?" The expressions of Supervisor E and the shopkeeper changed drastically, and they looked at the staff member with an embarrassed expression. What did young Master Wang say at that time? Supervisor Yi hurriedly asked with an embarrassed expression. Young Master Wang only said that you treated the customers like this, and then he left in anger. The staff member replied. This. Manager Yi and the shopkeepers' faces instantly turned ugly. What's the matter, Manager Yi? The four people at the side heard their conversation and slightly frowned as they asked. A distinguished guest was chased away by young Master Huiyuan. Manager Yi took a deep breath, his brows tightly knitted together, and his expression was extremely ugly. Oh. Distinguished guest. The middle-aged man frowned, and then he lightly shook his head. Forget it, as long as we have something that our customers need, we won't be short of customers. The young master who bought 1.5 billion middle-grade spirit stones from our Phoenix Immortal, and also helped us solve the problem of the Holy Sea Town. Chief Yi continued to say with an embarrassed expression. What? It's him. The four people were slightly shocked, and their expressions gradually became serious. The middle-aged man's expression changed somewhat awkwardly. They naturally knew of a young man who bought 400 to 500 million middle-grade spirit stones from their Phoenix Immortal in the Eastern Sea City. Back then, when all the cities were attacked by the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the Life and Death Pill Workshop, only the Eastern Sea City had to buy a large number of elixirs. Naturally, they were very concerned about this matter. Contact that young master immediately and see if he can make it up to us. The middle-aged man said hurriedly. Okay. Supervisor Yi nodded his head. He immediately took out his communication stone plate and sent a message to Wang Xian. Let's go in. That kid from the source of fire is really lacking. Everyone entered the living room. Master. Mom. Four young men and women immediately walked over and shouted. Everyone took a look at the source of fire. Their eyes were filled with displeasure. What's wrong, Master? Martial uncles, You are more than capable of failing. Did you chase away an important guest just now? The middle-aged man interrupted him and asked coldly. Master, how? How did I? Huiyuan was slightly stunned and asked with some fear. I got a reply. He said that he doesn't need any compensation, as long as Huiyuan kneels and apologizes. At this time, Chief Yi took a deep breath and said with an embarrassed expression. What? You want me to kneel and apologize? How is that possible? Does he want to die? Huiyuan shouted angrily in a low voice. Shut up. The middle-aged man shouted angrily at him, do you know what kind of guest you chased away? As the middle-aged man spoke, his expression was a little awkward. Asking his disciple to kneel down and apologize was a little too much. If something like this happens again in the future, don't ever come out again. In the end, the middle-aged man glared at him coldly. Sigh. Manager Yi sighed softly. He knew that this matter might be settled just like that. Thinking about how the auction was being attacked by the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the Life and Death Forging Workshop, as well as how a distinguished guest was offended, it was simply adding insult to injury. Wang Xian was in a very bad mood. Could it be that Feng Wan didn't know that the customer was a god? Therefore, he gave a reply after seeing the reply from Director Yi. If they were sincere, they would still talk to him. If not, then forget it. Dragon King, someone is walking towards us. At this moment, Ao Jian reminded him. He looked over and saw a group of more than 20 people walking towards him. The middle-aged man in the lead had a murderous look in his eyes as he locked onto them. Around him, there were 2 experts at level 8 of Transcendence, 1 at level 7 of Transcendence, and the rest were all at level 6 of Transcendence. The people on the road looked fearful when they saw them. Who is it? Wang Xian frowned slightly as he saw them walking towards him. My son was killed by you, and so were the experts sent by you. I really didn't expect that. However, very soon, I will make your life a living hell. The group of people walked over. The middle-aged man in the middle spoke in a cold voice. Chapter 10:23, Then, he would kill. My son was killed by you, and so were the experts sent by you. I really didn't expect that. However, very soon, I will make your life a living hell. A group of people came up to Wang Xian and said these cold words directly. Wang Xian looked at the group of people and his gaze landed on the center of the group. His pupils contracted slightly. He was an extraordinary level 9 and was definitely a top-notch expert. Someone from the Yun family? Wang Xian's face was gloomy. He looked at the middle-aged man and asked with a twinkle in his eyes. It's good that you know who killed you. The middle-aged man said coldly. He took a deep look at Wang Xian and walked straight ahead. Wang Xian's face darkened. How annoying. Wang Xian was in a bad mood after encountering the incident with Feng Xian and the threat from the Yun family. What should he do if he was in a bad mood? Wang Xian walked towards his residence. Dragon King. The group of draconids had already returned. When they saw Wang Xian enter with a bad expression, they greeted him carefully. Have you arranged the spies? Wang Xian asked the group of draconids. Dragon King, the spies have been arranged. The group of draconids replied. Yes. Wang Xian nodded. Since the spies had been arranged, he could make his move. So what if he was in a bad mood? He could only kill. Ao Yao, how confident are you in assassinating that middle-aged man just now? Wang Xian asked Ao Yao. 70%. He should be a bloodline cultivator. He has already cultivated a bloodline to its peak. Ao Yao's voice sounded from behind. Wang Xian nodded his head. The Yun family possessed a bloodline. The reason why the current head of the Yun family was able to cultivate to extraordinary level 9 was because of his bloodline. In fact, the middle-aged man was already over 300 years old this year. Is there a 70% chance? Wang Xian mumbled, Go and investigate the Yun family tonight. You will be able to find out everything clearly. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao nodded his head. He knew that the Dragon King was going to make a move against the Yun family. As long as they destroyed the Yun family, the Dragon Assassin organization would instantly become famous throughout the entire Eastern Sea City. At this moment, the discussions in the Demon Hunters Academy had gone crazy. The new student Wang Xian killed Captain Snake Mark, a group of experts from the Yun family. The new student Wang Xian is devoid of conscience. Not only did he not save his fellow students, he even added insult to injury. Wang Xian deserves to die. Dozens of his fellow students died because of him. Such a person should be cut into pieces. The evil Wang Xian. If it weren't for him, dozens of students wouldn't have died. Not long ago, one post after another suddenly appeared in the forum of the Demon Hunter College. It instantly attracted everyone's attention. Wang Xian killed Snake Mark. This was a matter that shocked the entire college. When they opened the post and saw the information inside, they were shocked. Wang Xian had 11 experts of supernatural 7th level. They even killed 4 experts of supernatural 7th level from the Yun family. A bunch of students from the Demon Hunter College's mercenary group were killed by him. Everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? However, they soon understood the whole story. However, it didn't take long before the people from the Void Beast Mercenary Group and the Amethyst Mercenary Group recounted everything that happened. I see. I didn't expect so many things to happen to the wind-winged savage fish. I didn't expect Wang Xian to be so awesome. This Wang Xian is simply too powerful. He actually possesses such terrifying strength. The group of people who posted just now might be the only ones who managed to escape alive. How unlucky. They thought Wang Xian was an ant, but they didn't expect him to be a terrifying demonic beast. This Wang Xian killed Yun Hanhai, killed Snake Mark, and more than a dozen students from the young master's mercenary group. He offended so many forces at once. I reckon that he won't be able to live for long. The forces behind him who killed this group of people joined forces, but they are extremely terrifying. I wonder if the forces behind Wang Xian can withstand them. It seems like this Wang Xian isn't simple. He's really strong. Luckily, we didn't provoke him. The students of the Demon Hunter College were discussing among themselves. They never expected that a new student would be able to stir up a storm in the Demon Hunter College. Many elite students of the college had died because of him. The entire Demon Hunter College was in a heated discussion. Soon, the news of this incident was spread to the Snake family. The Snake family was a relatively powerful family in East Sea City. The only difference was that the Snake family started out as a mercenary group. The Snake family was much weaker than the Yun family, but they were not to be underestimated. The head of the Snake family had the strength of a level 8 transcendent, and there were 3 to 4 level 8 experts in the family. Find all their information and keep an eye on them. They dare to kill the core disciples of our Snake family, damn it. An angry roar came from the Snake family. The forces of the Snake family immediately took action. Dragon King, there are people monitoring our surroundings. In the evening, when Wang Xian was dealing with the items in his hands, Ao Yao's voice sounded from the side. Hee, let them monitor us. Wang Xian smiled faintly. There are a total of 3 forces. Ao Yao added. Oh, is that so? Don't bother about them. Go to the Yun family tonight and take a look. It's the Dragon King. Night arrived very soon. Wang Xian laid on his bed and rested. The surrounding Ao Yao also disappeared into the night sky. No one had noticed their figures. No one would know that darkness would descend soon. Dragon King, we have checked all the locations of the Yun family. The next morning, Ao Yao's figure appeared beside Wang Xian as soon as he walked out of the room. How is it? How confident are we if we can get rid of the Yun family? Wang Xian asked directly. 40%. The Yun family has 3 level 8 extraordinaires, 7 level 7 extraordinaires, and 25 level 6 extraordinaires. If we were to assassinate them, we might attract the attention of the surroundings. Once we are discovered, we will fail. Ao Yao said to Wang Xian. So low. Wang Xian frowned slightly. A hint of contemplation appeared on his face. Go and capture the people who are watching us at the entrance. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao nodded and said to the sky. In less than a minute, 3 unconscious people were thrown in front of Wang Xian. Soul Catcher. His heart skipped a beat, and he immediately cast Soul Catcher. Yun family. Snake family. Du family. Soon, Wang Xian obtained the family that the 3 people came from. He pondered for a while. First, I'll take care of the Snake family. Then, at night, I'll spread the congratulatory death token of the Dragon Spike mercenary group across the entire city. From tonight onwards, I'll stir up the water in the entire Donghai city. After I destroy the Snake family, I'll take away all the treasures of the Snake family. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled as he thought of a perfect solution. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Chapter 1024, The Dragon Spike had arrived. He had killed the young master's mercenary group and offended a few powerful families. These families all wanted to destroy him. Since that was the case, Ao Yao and the others would make the first move. By destroying these families, they would be able to obtain a lot of resources and spirit stones. The resources they would obtain from this group would increase Strange Demon and the others' strength, and then they would go and finish off the Yun family. Moreover, this way, no one would suspect him. When that time came, East Sea City would already be shrouded in darkness, and no one would know that he was the one who made the move. Currently, I have more than 100 million middle-grade spirit stones in my hands, but I still need a lot more. He had obtained more than 103 million spirit stones from the Windwing rampant fish territory, and a portion of them had been obtained from Snake Mark and a few transcendent 7th rank experts. It was not enough to upgrade a strange demon to level 8 extraordinaire with more than 100 million spirit stones. Wang Xian did not use the spirit stones to purchase the spirit stones either. Soon, a day passed slowly. Wang Xian walked into the courtyard and watched the moon rise high into the sky. Dawn had arrived. Let's go. Wang Xian walked into the courtyard. He would be setting off together for this operation. However, he would not enter the snake family. Instead, he would wait outside. He needed to do one thing. The snake family was also located in the Eastern District, behind the Demon Hunter College. A few kilometers behind the Demon Hunter College, there was a mountain peak. There were a few powerful families living in the Eastern District. The snake family was one of them. At dawn, there were fewer people on both sides of the road. Especially in this area. At dawn, no one was staying here anymore. When Wang Xian arrived at the foot of the mountain, he saw a row of chairs beside him. He walked over with a smile and landed there. Bored, he took out his communication stone plate and checked some information. Ao Yao Yao and the rest had disappeared. The target was the snake family. Wang Xian leaned on the chair and looked at the information about the Demon Hunter College as well as the information about the Eastern Sea City. There was also a forum in Donghai City. There were various rankings, the ranking of the strong, the ranking of the mercenary groups, and so on. There were all sorts of juicy news. Among them, the most discussed topic was about the auction in 10 days. This time, the 3 big shops were promoting the auction very much. Just by revealing the items that were being auctioned, it was already a level 9 extraordinary. It was definitely a grand banquet for the auction. Dragon King. Just as Wang Xian was flipping through all sorts of information, Ao Yao's figure appeared. Beside him, there was a middle-aged man floating by the side. The middle-aged man was completely unconscious. He's an expert of level 8 transcendence from the snake family. He should know where the snake family's treasure is. Ao Yao scanned the surroundings warily and said, "All right." Wang Xian nodded. "Control him. It's the Dragon King." Wang Xian stared at the middle-aged man's body. The moment he released soul capture, the middle-aged man became clear in an instant. However, Ao Yao's arm was directly inserted into his body. Soul capture. Soon, Wang Xian's face turned pale. Ao Yao immediately kept the corpse into his interspatial ring. He closed his eyes and leaned against the chair, searching for information one by one. "I'll send the information to your mind." Very soon, Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief and said to Ao Yao, "Yes." Ao Yao nodded. Wang Xian sat there and sorted out the memories in his mind. There were too many memories of a person. If he accepted all of them, it could even drive him crazy. However, there are quite a lot of spirit stones in the snake family's treasure house. Wang Xian smiled. 800 million middle-grade spirit stones. This was what Wang Xian obtained from the memories of that expert. Other than 800 million middle-grade spirit stones, there were other treasures. For example, materials, formations, elixirs, spiritual herbs, and so on. There was even a medicinal garden in the snake family. Since I'm no longer helping Feng Xian, I can forge my own weapons and refine elixirs. Wang Xian thought to himself. If he didn't help Feng Xian's shop, he could obtain more benefits. I have to sell the bloodline in my hands as soon as possible. Wang Xian thought to himself and hesitated on how to sell this bloodline. In the past, he had thought of auctioning off the bloodline through Feng Xian. Now, it seemed like he had to think of another way. How about? Suddenly, a light flashed in Wang Xian's mind. He pondered for a moment and felt that it was really feasible. If I do this, I would be going against Phoenix. Wang Xian smiled and shook his head. Dragon King, take care of everything. Alright, let's go. Ao Yao Yao's voice rang out. Wang Xian stood up and walked towards his residence. The dozen-odd Yao Yao did not follow him. Instead, they were announcing something to the East Sea City. The dragon's thorn was here. The future king of assassins of the East Sea City was here. Wang Xian returned to his residence. He took a look at the items in his interspatial ring and laid down on his bed to rest. There was nothing faster than killing and robbing people to get money. Master and the rest have been killed. In the early morning, screams came from the snake family. This scream seemed to indicate something. Not far from the snake family was a Song family, a merchant family. The strength of the Chamber of Commerce could be ranked in the top 10 in Donghai City. Father, look. This morning, we placed a red piece of paper in our hall. Last night, the array formation didn't have the slightest fluctuation. It was silent. The word Dragon Spike was written on it, and there was also a contact information for the communication stone plate. A middle-aged man held a red piece of paper in his hand as he spoke to an old man with a grave expression. To be able to hide from their family's array formation and quietly place an item here, if they were here to assassinate them. They didn't dare to imagine it. Dragon Spike. The old man took the red piece of paper, and a surprised expression appeared on his face. Dragon Spike. Master, this says Dragon Spike. At this moment, an old official at the side was suddenly stunned and hurriedly asked. Oh. Old Hong, do you know this thing? The old man asked in surprise. Yes, of course I know it. Dragon Spike, the Dragon Assassin Organization. I didn't expect them to come to our East Sea City. Next, East Sea City will be in chaos. The old butler muttered, and his face slowly darkened. Tell me the details. The old man frowned and immediately asked him. Master, Dragon Spike is an assassin organization. As far as I know, they have become the kings of the underground in several towns under East Sea City. No one dares not to assassinate them. Even, as he spoke, he swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and his eyes were filled with shock. Even what? The old man hurriedly asked. Even, the mayor of Bridge Forest Town was assassinated by Long Ci, and in broad daylight, he was killed. The old official licked his lips. That mayor has the strength of a Type 8 Transcendent. What? The old man's face was filled with shock. He actually dared to assassinate the mayor, an expert of the Type 8 Transcendent. I didn't expect the Dragon Spike to come. The old butler muttered. Chapter 1025, The Might of the Dragon Spike. The Dragon Spike was coming. The old butler's eyes flickered. According to what he knew, once the Dragon Spike came, it would bring darkness, panic, fear, and madness. Daring to assassinate an expert at Transcendent Level 8, assassinate the mayor of a town, assassinate the mayor of Star Moon Kingdom, this. The old man's face was filled with shock. Not to mention an expert at Transcendent Level 8, he was also a top expert in East Sea City. As for the identity of the mayor, it was even more shocking. Daring to assassinate the mayor was equivalent to going against Star Moon Kingdom. Even Undercurrent did not have the guts to do so, yet this Dragon Spike actually dared to do so. Patriarch, something has happened. Something has happened to the snake family next door. At this moment, a middle-aged man suddenly ran over and exclaimed towards the people in the hall. What happened? What happened to the snake family? The old man frowned slightly and asked in surprise. All the members of the snake family have been killed. Family head, please go and take a look. The middle-aged man said in shock. What? The old man showed a shocked expression and walked out with big steps. The relationship between the snake family and the Song family was quite good. Because of the close distance, the two families often interacted with each other. How could they have been assassinated? He was very clear about the strength of the snake family. There were 3 level 8 transcendents. This was definitely a big family in East Sea City. The old butler's expression changed slightly, and he made a guess. The group walked out of the courtyard and hurried toward the snake family. Hiss, what's this? When the group came to the door, the old butler looked at the red paper on the door and gasped. What's wrong? The old man turned his head. That's the dragon spike's congratulatory death. The snake family members were killed by the dragon spike. As expected, only the dragon spike has the strength to do so. The old butler said with a face full of shock. Everyone immediately looked over. There was a bright red wedding invitation stuck on the door of the snake family. Looking at the bright red wedding invitation, everyone felt their scalps go numb. This was a congratulations from the Grim Reaper. It wasn't just here. Everyone in the entire Eastern Sea City who knew something about the dragon spike stared at the red piece of paper with their mouths agape. The dragon spike had arrived. As for those who didn't know about the Dragon Spike Assassin organization, they quickly received all the information about the Dragon Spike. Those who could get the Dragon Spike's contact information were all well-known mercenary groups and families in Eastern Sea City. They were very well informed. When everyone received all the information about the Dragon Spike, they could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Assassinating a level 8 transcendent, assassinating the mayor of Bridge Forest Town, shocking all the towns under Eastern Sea City. Everyone had to have a serious expression. However, not long after, a piece of news came. The snake family had been wiped out by the dragon spike. 3 level 8 transcendents and a group of level 7 and level 6 transcendents were all killed in one night. It was not until dawn that the people of the snake family discovered that they were dead. When this news spread out, the entire Eastern Sea City was in an uproar. How is this possible? This is the snake family. 3 level 8 transcendents and a protective array. How can they be destroyed? Oh my god, this is too terrifying. In one night, a large family in East Sea City was destroyed. I heard that every place the Dragon Assassin organization went, they would assassinate a powerful force there to announce their arrival. But I never thought that they would directly destroy the powerful snake family. In the next period of time, the entire East Sea City will be in chaos. Upon hearing this news, everyone had shocked expressions on their faces. An assassin organization that could easily destroy the snake family, an assassin organization that dared to assassinate the mayor without any scruples, was simply the god of death. Next, what if someone hired a dragon to assassinate him? Everyone held the red piece of paper and their expressions changed drastically. According to the information they had gathered, the place where the dragon's thorn came was the darkness. Now they truly understood. If you had this contact information, your enemy might also have this contact information. If you didn't hire the dragon's thorn, then your enemy might attack. The dragon's thorn was like a demon who had signed a contract with someone. Now that this contract was placed in front of them, whether they signed it or not, they only needed to consider it for themselves. Everyone's expression changed. Finally, someone gritted his teeth and took out his communication stone plate. The world was so cruel. At noon, Wang Xian came to a restaurant with a smile on his face. He was in a good mood and sat down at a table by the window on the second floor. He ordered a few special dishes and 100-year-old wine. He sat there and watched the storm with a smile. Look at the discussion section in East Sea City. Dragon Spike. Someone said that Dragon Spike came to East Sea City. What Dragon Spike and Ghost Spike? Hurry up and drink. What? Dragon Spike actually wiped out the snake family. All the experts of the snake family were wiped out in one night. My god. What? Dragon Spike once assassinated the mayor of Bridge Forest Town on the street? How is this possible? Really? Is what you said true? Oh my god, this is too terrifying. On the seat beside them, exclamations suddenly sounded. Wang Xian looked over and heard their discussion. Soon after, a smile appeared on his face. Very soon, the two of them looked at the information on the communication stone plate in shock. Wang Xian also took out the communication stone plate with a smile on his face and looked at them one by one. Unlike those small towns, the communication stone plate was located in Donghai City. It could send messages through the special formation in the city. Very soon, the news about the destruction of the snake family and the arrival of the dragon spike was sent to the entire Donghai City. Even the news about the dragon spike was sent out. This caused everyone to look at the information on the communication stone plate in shock. This dragon spike is too powerful. After the dragon spike arrives, wouldn't East Sea City be in chaos? I respect the rules of this dragon spike. Don't kill good people, don't kill children. FUCK, there's actually a rule of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding kills people, rewards good and punishment evil, and even assassinations at half price. This is too fucking showy. FUCK, the rules of this dragon spike mercenary group are too fucking awesome. FUCK, so the mayor of Bridge Forest Town was assassinated by a few hundred crowdfunding people. The Dragon Assassins Commission was halved. Not long after, the entire second floor of the restaurant was talking about the Dragon Spike mercenary group. There were even people slapping the table, looking at the Dragon Spike Assassins rules in astonishment. There was such a rule for an assassin's assassination? Not killing children. Weren't children the easiest to assassinate? Reward good and punish evil, crowdfunding assassination, half-price assassination. You fucking need to know that you are an assassin organization. An assassin organization actually has such rules. This is too showy. This assassin organization is really awesome. As soon as they entered East Sea City, they destroyed the snake family. A middle-aged man slowly drank a mouthful of water. He raised his head and continued, I really want to say something to the Dragon Spike mercenary group. When I was young, my family was poor. The only thing that was valuable was the iron chain on the door. Every time it rained, I was very worried. Please don't rust. The rules of the Dragon Spike are simply too showy. Chapter 1026, the entire city was on alert. In less than 5 hours, news of the Dragon Spike had spread throughout the entire Eastern Sea City. Even an ordinary mercenary group had some understanding of the Dragon Spike. This made everyone surprised by the rules of the Dragon Spike assassin group. They were also shocked by the strength of the Dragon Spike. They had wiped out the snake family as soon as they made a move. No one doubted whether they could do anything in Eastern Sea City. In just half a day, the atmosphere in East Sea City was like a storm was about to come. Everyone knew that at this moment, someone had definitely started to issue a mission. In the most central area of East Sea City, next to a tall tower, the center of power in the entire East Sea City. The position of the strongest expert of East Sea City, the seat of the governor's mansion of East Sea City. In the office seat, an old man sat majestically on the chair in the center of the front. There were more than 10 middle-aged men sitting in the 2 rows below. Each of them had an imposing aura. They were all experts of the city lord's mansion and the regional chiefs of the 5 regions. You should know about the Dragon Spike. He appeared in a few towns under East Sea City a few months ago. Now, all the underground assassinations in the towns have been ruled by the Dragon Spike. Now, he has come to our East Sea City. How should we solve this problem? An old man on the lower left side of the city lord scanned the surroundings and asked in a deep voice. What do you mean, city lord? Are we going to let it go or deal with the Dragon Spike? An old man arched an arch and asked the city lord sitting in the center. Without the city lord's words, they did not dare to make a decision on their own. The mayor of Bridge Forest Town is a subject of Star Moon Kingdom. The Dragon Spike openly assassinated the mayor of Bridge Forest Town on the street. This is the biggest provocation to us. the city lord sitting in the middle. He spoke in a solemn voice that exuded authority without anger. Last time, His Highness the King personally asked about this matter, but when the new mayor went over, there was already no news of the dragon spike. This time, they actually dared to enter East Sea City so arrogantly. We can't just leave them be. I agree with the city lord. According to all the information, this dragon assassin organization should be able to assassinate at most a rank 8 transcendent expert. It shouldn't be possible for a rank 9 transcendent. However, even if they have a rank 9 transcendent, with the city lord's presence in the East Sea City's array formation, all the small fries are under our control. An old man said loudly. Agreed. Assassinating the mayor of Bridgewood Town is already disregarding our Star Moon Kingdom. Even the undercurrents aren't so arrogant. We definitely can't let a dragon assassin organization go. That's right. If we ignore them, they'll think that our Star Moon Kingdom won't dare to touch them in the future. The middle-aged elders agreed. They all knew about Bridgewood Town. An assassin organization dared to assassinate Star Moon Kingdom's officials. This was a provocation to the entire kingdom. They might be a little afraid of the strength of this dragon assassin organization, but since the city lord had spoken, it was different. First, find their spies. Then, we'll take the opportunity to find their nest. Send 5 times more men to keep an eye on all the places in the East Sea City. It's the city lord. The city lord's order was given, and everyone immediately carried it out. The operation against the dragon spike had already begun. Wang Xian didn't know that this operation would attract the city lord's attention. It would also attract the attention of powerhouses at the insightful void tier. Dragon King, up till now, we have received 15 missions. The biggest one is to destroy the Du family. The Du family's commission has reached 700 million middle-grade spirit stones. In the afternoon, when Wang Xian had just returned to his residence, a group of draconids came over to report. 700 million. Wang Xian's eyes flashed with a hint of excitement. Du family? Is it the Du family that is spying on us? It's the Dragon King. There is only one Du family in Donghai City. The draconids replied. Alright, perfect timing. I've accepted the mission. Bring me the commission. Wang Xian nodded his head. There was a hint of excitement in his eyes. He didn't expect that someone would offer 700 million middle-grade spiritual stones to wipe out all the powerhouses in a family when he just arrived at Donghai City. This was akin to robbing money. After robbing the Snake family, he only received 800 million middle-grade spiritual stones. Of course, the other materials, weapons, and spiritual herbs were not included. It's the Dragon King. The group of draconids nodded. All the missions were selected by the draconids. They did not kill good people or children. 15 missions were directly accepted. The draconids received commissions through spies. However, they secretly passed the commissions to the draconids. In East Sea City, which had a population of 10 million, this method was very secretive and difficult to find. Unless, there was something wrong with the person who issued the mission. After accepting the 15 missions, he didn't accept any other missions. One of the more than 10 missions was a big shot of the Du family. It would take a longer time. Furthermore, Wang Xian was prepared to go with the Du family for this mission. Of course, it was the same as last night. Night arrived quietly. The Donghai City today was different from the past. To be exact, it was similar to the old Shanghai town. The lights were bright. Today was the second night of the Dragon Spike's arrival. There were already people looking for the Dragon Spike to issue missions. They had to guard against the Dragon Spike's assassination. Wang Xian walked on the road and looked at the bright courtyards around him. A smile appeared on his face. The arrival of the Dragon Spike had made the entire Donghai City on alert. The entire city was on alert. It's useless. After tonight, it will be even more useless. A smile appeared on Wang Xian's face as he walked in the direction of the Du family with a smile. He realized that there were chairs on the roads surrounding the luxurious manors and courtyards. Furthermore, there were chairs under the shade of the trees. Even the formation couldn't be seen. Wang Xian sat on the chair with a relaxed expression as he waited for the news quietly. In less than 10 minutes, Ao Yao appeared beside him. Just like last night, Wang Xian absorbed the soul and passed the Du family's treasure trove to Ao Yao. In less than 20 minutes, Wang Xian took out one interspatial ring after another and walked towards his residence. The night passed quietly. Ah! An exclamation was heard. The voice did not come from inside the Du family but from outside. A passerby looked at the red piece of congratulatory death paper at the entrance of the Du family with a face full of shock. He could not help but exclaim in surprise. The Du family, this was the Du family after all. The Du family had an extraordinary level 8 powerhouse, yet they were actually killed by a dragon's sting in front of their door. The outcome was expected. The expert of the Du family had been assassinated by the dragon's thorn. A cry of surprise caught the attention of many people. Some of the people who looked over widened their eyes and looked over. Amazing, as expected of the dragon's thorn. It didn't even take a day to kill the Du family. It's really powerful. Luckily, we made the first move. Around them, a middle-aged man looked at the red piece of paper on the door of the Du family, full of surprise. Even though this task was given by him, he still felt a palpitation when he saw this piece of paper. This represented death. Chapter 1027, Do you regret it? Let's go. The Du family was wiped out by the dragon spike. In just one night, another powerful family was wiped out by the dragon spike. This is too terrifying. It's said that not only the Du family, more than 20 people died last night. The weakest among them was at Transcendent level 5. Some people said that the dragon spike came and brought darkness. I still don't believe it. This is too fucking awesome. It wiped out 2 large families in just 2 days. The Du family must have a feud with some family and was assassinated by the dragon spike. To wipe out the Du family, it would cost at least 500 million to 600 million middle-grade spirit stones. This is too crazy. How long will the dragon spike's assassination last? I heard from St. C Town that the dragon spike wouldn't make a move when the assassins weren't hired. Oh my god, this will take at least 1 to 2 months in St. C Town. Not only that, but we must be careful when we make enemies in the future. Who can resist the dragon spike? After the dragon spike, there will be light. Early in the morning, the whole East Sea city was in an uproar. On the first day, the dragon spike destroyed the snake family, and on the second day, the dragon spike destroyed the Du family. The 2 famous families in East Sea City had all been destroyed. Their hundreds or even thousands of years of foundation had been easily destroyed. This kind of destructive attack shocked everyone. The true power of the dragon spike wasn't as simple as it seemed. Soon after, all the clans and mercenary groups in Eastern Sea City became nervous. Fuck, if their enemies hired the dragon spike, wouldn't they be finished too? Perhaps the only ones in East Sea City who were more at ease were those who had not done anything bad, and those who were kinder. There were also those who had Type 9 transcendence who were not afraid. Type 9 transcendence had almost reached the peak, and it was hard to assassinate them. Although they were not afraid, it did not mean that others were not. After the Du clan was destroyed, there were only 2 paths left for the majority of the clans. First, hire the dragon spike to eliminate the opponent. Second, make an agreement with the enemy and shake hands to make peace. All of a sudden, all the families and mercenary groups were considering this problem. They didn't mean to hire the dragon spike just because they wanted to. The commission was definitely a huge expense. When Wang Xian walked out of the house, he realized that the entire Donghai city was talking about the dragon spike assassin organization. All of them were either surprised, shocked, excited, or embarrassed. I'll go and purchase some elixirs and spiritual herbs today. Since I don't have to help Feng Xian, I can totally refine the elixirs myself. If I refine them myself, I can save half of the cost. Wang Xian thought to himself as he walked straight to the center of the Eastern District. Yesterday, he obtained 300 million middle-grade spiritual stones from the Du family. Currently, Wang Xian had 1.8 billion to 9 billion spiritual stones in his hands. He also obtained quite a number of elixirs. However, he didn't sell these elixirs. Instead, he kept them. These elixirs were of great use to him. After exchanging these 1.8 billion middle-grade spirit stones for resources, he could definitely raise his level by 1 level. However, he didn't plan to raise his own strength for the time being. Instead, he wanted to raise the strength of the strange demons first. In East Sea City, other than the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop which had a large number of elixirs, the other one was the Life and Death Elixir Workshop. The Life and Death Elixir Workshop was an elixir shop which was even more powerful than Phoenix Immortal. It focused on elixirs. The Life and Death Elixir Workshop was connected to Phoenix Immortal. Wang Xian had seen the competition many times and it was extremely intense. When Wang Xian walked over, he realized that regardless of whether it was the Life and Death Elixir Workshop or Phoenix Immortal, there were a few beauties holding up signs at the entrance. The price of the pills was written on the signs. Was this a promotional battle? At the entrance of Feng Xian's Elixir and Weapons Workshop, Supervisor Yi, the shopkeeper, and the few middle-aged men were all at the entrance. They looked at the Life and Death Elixir Workshop at the side with a grim expression. Wang Xian looked over with interest and smiled mockingly. If not for their bad attitude, the pills he bought alone could support the entire business of Feng Xian in the entire Donghai city. In the future, the entire business of Star Moon Kingdom might not even be possible. Wang Xian walked straight to the location of the Life and Death Pill Workshop. Manager Yi and the shopkeeper standing at the door were unusually agitated. A few days ago, the big shots behind the shop came to East Sea City to alleviate the crisis in East Sea City. They brought a batch of medicinal pills and the results were indeed very good. In those 2 days, the number of customers was double that of the Life and Death Pill Workshop. However, what they didn't expect was that the Life and Death Medicinal Pill Workshop actually took out the same medicinal pills in less than 3 days. Moreover, they even sold the prices even lower than theirs. This instantly caused their business to drop. Helpless, they could only start a price war this morning. However, with this kind of method, as the continent's top medicinal pill workshop, how could they show weakness and immediately follow? This gave them a huge headache. What made them even more embarrassed was that the other party was preparing to hold the auction at the same time as them a few days later. Clearly, this was a deliberate attempt to suppress them. After this matter appeared, even the few important figures who had come to the Eastern Sea were unable to resolve it. They could only report it to the higher-ups. It was said that higher-ups with even higher statuses would come. Thinking of the big shots who came to the shop, Manager Yi and the shopkeeper had bitter faces. The disciples who came with the big shots chased away one of their distinguished guests. Sigh. Manager Yi sighed silently with a worried face. If the big shot who came again couldn't solve the problem of East Ocean City would be finished. Manager Yi, look, it's him, it's young Master Wang. At this moment, the manager at the side said anxiously to her. Huh? Manager Yi immediately turned his head. When he saw Wang Xian heading straight for the Life and Death Pill Workshop, his expression instantly turned ugly. Manager Yi, he went to the Life and Death Pill Workshop. The manager said with an ugly expression. Let's go over and apologize. Now that Feng Xian's medicinal pills and weapons workshop had fallen to such a state, they would be able to do it even if they had to put down their attitude and try to win back a customer. Not to mention, they were such a distinguished guest. All right. The shopkeeper nodded his head. This matter was originally a problem for Feng Xian. The two of them walked over immediately. Yes, Manager Yi. A woman looked surprised when she saw them walking over directly. It's the young man from that day. At this moment, a girl at the side looked at Wang Xian and sized him up from head to toe. They didn't expect that this young man was a customer who had spent 500 to 600 million on medicinal pills at Feng Xian. Let's go over as well. The woman exchanged glances with the few people beside her and walked over as well. Chapter 1028, Do You Regret It? Go. Young Master Wang, Young Master Wang. Just as Wang Xian was walking towards the life and death elixir store, an anxious voice sounded. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows when he heard the voice and looked over. He paused on the young man who was walking over from behind and revealed a mocking expression on his face. When the young man saw Wang Xian looking at him, his face turned gloomy and he glared at him without showing any signs of weakness. However, soon, the middle-aged man beside him looked over with a frown. The young man immediately lowered his head. Young Master Wang, what happened the day before yesterday was our fault. We apologize. How can you forgive us? We will try our best to make it up to you. Supervisor Yi walked over and said apologetically to Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked at Supervisor Yi, who was full of sincerity, and nodded. Supervisor Yi and the shopkeeper saw his expression and were delighted. Young Master Wang, you are our distinguished guest. It was our fault last time. Tell me, as long as... All right, Supervisor Yi, this is not your fault. It's his fault. Wang Xian interrupted Supervisor Yi and pointed at the young man. He is also a member of Feng Xian. If you want me to forgive him, it's simple. Make him kneel here. However, this time, it's different from what I said last time. He needs to kneel for 5 minutes. Wang Xian revealed a smile. His words caused Manager Yi and Manager Yi's expressions to change slightly. Meanwhile, the young man revealed an even more furious expression. Don't even think about it. Do you think you are? Shut up. The middle-aged man interrupted him coldly and looked at Wang Xian. He took a deep breath and said, Young master, change your condition. You are our distinguished guest. What happened the day before yesterday was our fault. We are willing to compensate you. Pills, weapons, you name it. Yes, level 7 pills and level 7 weapons. As long as you can forgive us and continue to work with us, we will agree unconditionally. A woman at the side immediately said to Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked at the two of them and smiled. Do you know why I have been helping you, Feng Xian? It's because Feng Xian has a friend of mine, a very good friend. However, this doesn't mean that any random person from Feng Xian can chase me away. Do I lack spirit stones? Do I lack a 7th grade elixir and weapon? As Wang Xian spoke, he looked at them mockingly. This made them feel a little embarrassed. The young man stared at Wang Xian furiously. Do I lack spirit stones? How rich is he to dare to say such words? Fuck, even they didn't dare to say such words. One had to know that the 4 of them were experts at Transcendent Level 9. Arrogant fellow, our Feng Xian's higher-ups have personally apologized to you. You even dared to be so arrogant. Do you really think that we, Feng Xian, cannot continue the business after losing a guest like you? The young man gritted his teeth and spoke to Wang Xian. This time, the middle-aged man didn't interrupt him. This was because they could tell that unless the source of fire knelt down and apologized, the other party wouldn't forgive them. Asking the source of fire to apologize was like slapping his own face. What's wrong? What's wrong? Why did your Feng Xian's people come to our shop to invite customers? At this moment, a sharp voice was heard. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a woman walking over. There were 3 to 4 people following beside the woman. The woman swayed her body and scanned Manager Yi and Manager Yi with her sharp eyes. It's not to the extent that we can't open the shop. However, you will suffer a lot of losses. Wang Xian looked at the young man with a smile and said with a smile. When the shopkeeper of the Life and Death Elixir Workshop heard Wang Xian's words, his eyes lit up. It seems that young master is dissatisfied with the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. Wang Xian smiled faintly at the woman. He raised his leg and was about to walk towards the Life and Death Elixir Workshop. A lot of losses. HMPH, do you think you have the right to make our Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop suffer losses? The young man growled at Wang Xian with an embarrassed expression. Looking at Wang Xian's expression and hearing his words, he really couldn't take it anymore. Even the middle-aged men at the side didn't look too good. They were from the Fire Lark clan. They might not be famous in the Fire Lark clan, but they still had some weight. Now, they came to beg a kid, yet they were being treated with such disrespect. This made them feel uncomfortable. Hee, is that so? Wang Xian smiled. He looked at the shopkeeper of the Life and Death Elixir Workshop and asked, if I buy pills from you for 100 million middle-grade spirit stones, will you give me a discount? Of course I will. If you give me 100 million, I will give you a 10% discount. If you buy too much, I will give you a discount. How about it, young master? Our Life and Death Elixir Workshop is definitely not something that Fengxian can compare to, especially in terms of service. The woman had been listening to their conversation from the side. She had already gained some insight. Obviously, this young man in front of them was definitely a big customer of Fengxian in the past. Otherwise, they would not have come over personally to apologize. And the reason for everything was that the young man had offended him. That was why this young man had fallen out with them. When an old man standing beside the woman saw this scene, he also narrowed his eyes and rubbed his hands. His face was filled with excitement. This was a gift from Fengxian to them. Here. Wang Xian threw an interspatial ring in his hand directly to the old man who was rubbing his hands. The discount cannot be lower than 20%. The old man was slightly stunned. He immediately took out the interspatial ring and said, if it's 20%, it might be. However, when he saw the spirit stones in the interspatial ring, he stopped before he could finish his sentence. His hands couldn't help but tremble, and a shocked expression appeared on his face. 20% discount, can. His face flushed red as he asked excitedly. How many spirit stones? The woman manager's expression changed slightly, and she stared at the old man as she hurriedly asked. At least 800 million middle-grade spirit stones. Young master, how many middle-grade spirit stones are there? Here. The old man's face was filled with excitement and his voice was trembling slightly. This was the first time he had seen so many spirit stones. The huge interspatial ring that was more than 100 square meters was almost filled up. What? The sharp voice of the lady manager rang out. 1 billion middle-grade spirit stones. I want all the elixirs that can improve my cultivation. I hope that your Life and Death Elixir Workshop can prepare them for me as soon as possible. Wang Xian said calmly from the side. All right, young master. We will definitely prepare as soon as possible. Definitely. The woman snatched the interspatial ring hurriedly. When she saw the middle-grade spirit stones inside, she was so excited that her face was flushed red as she shouted loudly. 1 billion. When Manager E and Manager E heard this number, their vision turned black. 1 billion. That was a total of 1 billion middle-grade spirit stones. How much could they earn this time? The young man's face froze, and even the 4 middle-aged men were shocked. Dumbfounded. Chapter 1029, City Lord's Mansion. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that with 1 billion mid-grade spirit stones and a 20% discount, they would still be able to earn at least 200 million mid-grade spirit stones. A transcendent 7th grade medicinal pill was only worth around 10 million mid-grade spirit stones. With 200 million mid-grade spirit stones, their Feng Xian's profits in East Sea City wouldn't even reach 200 million in a year. Even the eyes of the 4 middle-aged men from the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan flickered, and their eyes were filled with deep regret. If these spirit stones belonged to Feng Xian, then he, as a customer, would be able to support the entire Feng Xian. What promotion would he have to do? What auction would he have to hold? Moreover, they knew that this young man in front of them had already spent 500 to 600 million in a short 1 to 2 months. Would he continue to buy medicinal pills in the future? From the looks of it, the possibility was very high. Just like that, a customer was directly chased away by their Phoenix Immortal. What the fuck? Supervisor E, the shopkeeper, as well as the 4 middle-aged and 4 young men were all breathing rapidly. The middle-aged man looked at his disciple and fiercely glared at him. At this moment, the young man was also completely dispirited. He lowered his head and didn't dare to speak at all. This time, one of his actions caused a huge loss to the Phoenix Immortal. 200 million mid-grade spirit stones in exchange for resources would be enough to increase their Fire Cloud Sparrow clan's strength by 5 to 6 extraordinary 7th rank experts. However, at the same time, he was somewhat furious. Once this matter was revealed, his master and the others would definitely have a lot of opinions towards him. It's all that kid's fault, that damned fellow. The young man's eyes flickered with hatred. He. At this time, on the side of the Pill of Life and Death shopkeeper woman saw the change in charge of a group of people look embarrassed, eyes turned, full of ridicule laughed. Aya, it's really funny. The mighty Feng Xian actually chased out the distinguished guests in his own shop. It's really interesting. After staying here for so long, this is the first time I've seen a guest push his own guests out, and it's such a distinguished guest. The woman started to mock him. Firstly, she was trying to please Wang Xian on purpose to leave a good impression on him. Secondly, both parties were in a competitive relationship. Naturally, she didn't plan to let go of this good opportunity. The woman's face was flushed red. She glanced at Supervisor E and the rest with a smug look on her face. Then, she pulled Wang Xian's arm and said, "Young Master Wang, please come in. We promise to give you the best service." Wang Xian and the woman walked towards the Life and Death elixir store. Chief E and the rest looked extremely embarrassed. Sigh. Chief E and the shopkeeper could not help but sigh heavily and walked straight into the store. For the first time, they ignored the few higher-ups and walked towards Feng Xian. The expressions of the 4 middle-aged men changed. They also walked towards the store with sullen faces. The 3 girls and a young man followed behind obediently. They didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Wang Xian entered the Life and Death elixir workshop. The lady manager brought him into the reception hall at the back with a warm expression. She served him tea and poured him water. Her body was almost resting on Wang Xian's body. Perhaps it was because she saw that he was handsome and had spirit stones. Wang Xian maintained a distance from her in an awkward but polite manner. The lady manager sat at the side and chatted with him with a smile. Half an hour later, all the elixirs were brought over. The Life and Death elixir store offered Wang Xian a 20% discount. Wang Xian asked if there were any spiritual herbs. In the end, under the shocked gaze of the lady manager, Wang Xian bought all kinds of spiritual herbs. Wang Xian was in a great mood after being enthusiastically sent out of the store. The elixirs in his hands, which were worth 1 billion middle-grade spiritual stones, could raise 3 strange demons to extraordinary 7th level. Or it could only raise AO demons to extraordinary 7th level. If the evil demons were to be raised to extraordinary 7th level, they should be able to match a half-step void interpretation stage powerhouse. However, Wang Xian still decided to let the 3 evil demons be raised to extraordinary 7th level. This was because if the 3 evil demons were to reach extraordinary 7th level, he would have 4 subordinates at extraordinary 9th level. The strength of an individual was strong. Sometimes, it was inferior to the strength of a team. Take Wang Xian for example. If he were to spend all his resources on himself, he would at most be at Transcendent level rank 7. What could he do at Transcendent level rank 7? He could kill a half-step void interpretation, but there was still a huge gap between him and a real void interpretation. With such strength, how could he earn spirit stones quickly? He could only rely on hunting ferocious beasts. However, hunting ferocious beasts was not as rewarding as assassinating the dragon spike. The amount of spirit stones he earned was much faster. If he had only spent the resources on himself to increase his strength when he first entered the extraordinary mainland, he would never have been able to obtain so many spirit stones. Furthermore, the Dragon Palace was his final strength. The reason why the bug race was so powerful back then was because of their huge numbers. Ao Yao and the rest had the same strength as Wang Xian himself. Therefore, Wang Xian would not care even if they were stronger than him. Bang! What are you doing? What are you doing? Not long after Wang Xian walked out of the Life and Death Elixir workshop, an old man suddenly collapsed on the ground and shouted at the young man beside him. His eyes were filled with fear. This street was located on the main street and there were many people around. When they saw the conflict, everyone immediately looked over. Huh? Wang Xian felt something. He looked at the old man on the ground and his face slowly darkened. City guards enforcing the law. The young man dressed in green immediately took out a law enforcement token. Take him away. A small dragon assassin organization dares to be so arrogant in our Donghai city. At this moment, the city guards who were hiding in the surroundings quickly surrounded them and shouted loudly. What? The Dragon Assassin Organization? What's going on? Could that old man be an assassin of the Dragon Assassin Organization? No way. He clearly doesn't have any power. Could he be a spy of the Assassin Organization? It should be. I didn't expect the City Lord to actually make a move against the Dragon Assassin Organization. This is a big matter. The City Lord actually wants to deal with the Dragon Assassin Organization. It should be because the Dragon Assassin Organization assassinated the mayor of Bridgewood Town back then. This has caused the City Lord and Star Moon Kingdom to be very dissatisfied, which is why they made a move against the Dragon Assassin Organization. This time, the Dragon Assassin Organization will be in big trouble. If the City Lord's estate makes a move, and the insightful Void Realm experts make a move, they might even uproot the Dragon Assassin Organization. When the surrounding people heard the city guards' words, shock appeared on their faces. When they saw the city guards surrounding the old man, they all muttered to themselves. Ha, it's simply wishful thinking to want to deal with our Dragon Assassin Organization. When the old man heard the city guards' words, a look of despair appeared on his face. However, soon after, he laughed wildly and shouted loudly. Is that so? It won't be long before your Dragon Assassin Organization will be uprooted by us. Humph, arrogant fellow, you dare to be so arrogant in our Eastern Sea City. A city guard in the middle coldly shouted. Is that so? Pang. That old man stared at the city guard in the middle, and a trace of ridicule appeared on his face. His body emitted a loud bang. Chapter 1030. Pang. As soon as the old man finished speaking, a loud sound was heard. The old man's 7 orifices started to bleed. He committed suicide. I didn't expect him to commit suicide directly. This Dragon Assassin Organization is not simple. This old man should be a spy who collects commission. He is not an assassin. An ordinary spy should not know what is inside the dragon spike, but he still committed suicide. It seems that the training of this dragon spike is very strict. No matter how strict it is, when the city lord's mansion makes a move, they will use the city's great formation to watch every corner. No matter how deep the dragon spike is hidden, it will still be discovered. That's right. The city lord's mansion has the city lord who is at the profound void realm. With the addition of the formation, no one will be able to hide. When the surrounding people saw that the old man actually committed suicide, surprise appeared on their faces, and they discussed among themselves. The surrounding city guards frowned slightly and looked a little embarrassed. The city guard in the center immediately took out his communication stone plate and sent a message. He wanted to remind the other team of people who were in contact with the secret agent of the dragon spike to stop them from committing suicide. When Wang Xian saw this scene, he walked toward his residence with an embarrassed expression. The mayor's residence actually interfered. A powerhouse at the insightful void tier actually wanted to deal with them. To them, this was bad news that couldn't be any worse. The mayor was the mayor of a city. He possessed power that exceeded everyone's imagination. The mayor could mobilize all the formations and city guards of the entire East Sea City to monitor the entire East Sea City. His authority was even greater than that of the commander who was in charge of the Marine Corps. The number of city guards in the East Sea City was as high as 10,000 people. Coupled with the surveillance of the formations, as well as the people who pretended to give out missions on purpose today, they were here to exchange commission with the spy. In the future, it would be much more difficult for the dragon spike to stay in the East Sea City. However, the dragon spike has the ability to ignore formations. It is a very powerful supernatural ability. It is easy for them to evade the surveillance of the formations. However, if they pretend to be their employer and issue an assassination mission, they can easily pull out the spy. Wang Xian's face was solemn as he walked towards his residence. Dragon King. The group of draconids saw him and greeted him immediately. Yes. Wang Xian nodded and looked at them. A spy has been captured by the city guards. Be careful. What? The group of draconids was slightly shocked as their faces turned solemn. Dragon King, the mayor's residence has interfered. What should we do? Long Yi asked with a slightly embarrassed expression. Ao Yao, if there are experts at the insightful void level, can they discover you? Wang Xian hesitated for a moment and didn't answer him. Instead, he asked Ao Yao. If it's me, unless the insightful void level experts search carefully, it won't be easy for them to discover me. If it's another strange demon, the insightful void level experts might sense me. Ao Yao answered directly. Is that so? Wang Xian nodded slowly and pondered for a moment. If your strength improves a little, can the insightful emptiness realm experts discover you? Dragon King, in Donghai City, the two insightful emptiness realm experts are at the first level of the insightful emptiness realm. If my strength can improve, I can completely deceive them. Ao Yao said confidently. Alright. In that case, it will be tough on you alone for the next few days. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He swallowed all the pills and turned them into dragon crystals to increase Ao Yao's strength. Crack. 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 Half an hour later, the body of the strange demon became longer and longer. The light and darkness on its body became purer. It was like sunlight, like black ink. The first level Ao Yao comprehended the divine ability, light and darkness. The second level comprehended the divine ability, light and darkness. The third level comprehended the divine ability, piercing eyes. The fourth level comprehended the divine ability, light and darkness interweaved. The fifth level comprehended the divine ability, light and darkness. The sixth level comprehended the divine ability, light and darkness burst. And now that he had broken through to the seventh level of transcendence, Ao Yao had comprehended another divine ability. Light and shadow escape. Light and shadow escape. As long as there was light and darkness, he could teleport within a 2,000-meter radius. He could teleport to any place within a 2,000-meter radius in the blink of an eye. It was definitely a very powerful supernatural ability. Regardless of whether it was an assassination or escape, it was very abnormal. "Thank you, Dragon King." Ao Yao knelt respectfully beside Wang Xian and thanked him. "Get up. I'll be counting on you for the next few days." Wang Xian waved his hand. Initially, Wang Xian didn't plan to expend so many resources to increase Ao Yao's strength. However, the actions of the Castellan's residents had interrupted his plan. However, don't think that the Castellan's residents can stop the assassination attempt by Dragon Spike. If you offend Dragon Spike, even if it's the Castellan's residence or a powerhouse at the level of the Void Interpretation stage, you have to submit obediently. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He looked at Ao Yao with a ruthless expression. "Ao Yao, later on, you will assassinate 10 city guards in the busy city and place a few pieces of paper beside them." "It's the Dragon King." Ao Yao nodded. "Since the city lord's mansion wants to get rid of us, we will bring them panic and despair." Wang Xian's face turned cold. "Dragon King, we have just contacted the spies. We have lost contact with one of them." At this moment, Long Yi walked over and said with an awkward expression, "He should be dead or captured by the city guards." When Wang Xian heard this news, his expression turned ugly as well. He wasn't worried that the spies would leak anything if they were captured. These spies were already controlled. Even if they were to die, they wouldn't leak anything. However, the actions of the city lord's mansion made him very angry. This brought him great trouble. Very soon, I'll let you know what regret is." Behind the city lord's mansion, there was a cell. Inside the cell were all sorts of people who had committed crimes. Once they broke the city rules, they were all sent to the cell. East Sea City had 5 cells. Only the cell behind the city lord's mansion was full of people who had committed serious crimes. At this moment, in the interrogation room of the prison cell, an old man was hanging there miserably. The torture instruments around him looked shocking. "Captain, this old man's teeth are too tight. All the torture instruments and all the punishments have been changed. It's as if his soul has been controlled." A young man walked out with an ugly expression and reported to a middle-aged man. "Oh. All the torture devices have been used, and you still refuse to admit it?" The middle-aged man frowned, and a serious expression appeared on his face. The city guards had captured 2 spies of the Dragon Spike. One had committed suicide on the spot, and the other had been controlled in time. However, what they didn't expect was that the spy's mouth was actually so hard. They were very clear about the torture devices here, not to mention an old man who hadn't reached the Transcendence realm. Even if a Transcendent level 9 powerhouse came here, he would have to spit out what underwear he wore. How did an old man do it? Chapter 1031. In the cell, a group of city guards stared at the old man in the interrogation room with an embarrassed expression. "A spy's mouth is so tight. I don't believe that all spies are so tight. As long as the Dragon Spike dares to accept the mission, we will be able to catch their spy." At this moment, an old man walked out of the cell. He stared at the old man in the cell with an expressionless face and said confidently, "Sir is right. As long as the Dragon Spike still dares to accept missions in our Eastern Sea City, we will be able to catch their spies and obtain their information." The city guards immediately said respectfully when they saw the old man walk in. "Okay, let's go." The old man waved his hand indifferently. At the same time, the news that 2 of the Dragon Spike spies had been caught by the city guards in the morning spread throughout Eastern Sea City. In just 2 days, the Dragon Spike had caused chaos in the entire Eastern Sea City, causing the entire city to shake. The 2 families had been wiped out. Today, because of the fear of the Dragon Assassin organization, many families had already contacted them and arranged a banquet to settle their old grudges. This scene in the morning stunned many people in Eastern Sea City. However, not long after, the city guards attacked the dragon Spike. The two spies were caught, causing a great uproar. Long C's strength was already beyond doubt. However, behind the city guards was the city lord's manor, the city lord, an expert at the insightful void realm. The city lord wanted to make his move against Long Ci, causing everyone to be dumbstruck. It seems that Long Ci's actions have angered the city lord. He's arrogant, and ignores the authority of the city lord's manor. It should be because Dragon Spike assassinated the mayor of Bridgewood Town last time. He assassinated an important official of Star Moon Kingdom. This is going against Star Moon Kingdom. Now that he's in East Sea City, the city lord will naturally make a move. Now, Dragon Spike is going to be finished. It's still very easy for the city lord to deal with an assassin organization. I'm afraid that it won't be long before Dragon Spike will obediently scram out of East Sea City. Long Ci has only been in the limelight for 2 days, and now he's going to be suppressed by the city lord's mansion. It seems that there won't be any Long Ci in the future. On the streets, in the restaurants, the martial artists were talking loudly. I think Long Ci might be directly eliminated by the city lord. It's hard to say. As the saying goes, there are policies and countermeasures. Long Ci's strength is not weak after all. Perhaps they can really establish a foothold in East Sea City. However, they might not be as high profile as they are now. In front of a shop, a few young men walked out from the shop and chatted with each other. The white-clothed young man in the middle retorted to his companion. Hee, since the city lord is prepared to deal with the dragon Spike, as long as they dare to stay in Eastern Sea City, they will be destroyed by us. An assassin organization doesn't have the qualifications to challenge the dignity of our city lord's mansion. Right at this moment, an icy cold voice suddenly sounded from the side. The white-robed young man was slightly stunned, and a fearful expression appeared on his face. Yes, sir is right. Humph. 3 city guards were patrolling the area as they walked over. The middle-aged man in the middle crossed his arms and snorted coldly. With the strength of our city lord's mansion, the dragon Spike no longer dares to accept the mission. The young men quickly nodded in response. At the same time, they were shocked. Long Ci actually doesn't dare to accept the mission anymore. It seems that they are really afraid of the city lord's mansion. The few of them looked at each other and quickly walked into the distance. Does an assassin organization really think that they can turn the sky upside down? The 3 patrolling city guards disdainfully glanced at their surroundings. Suddenly, they felt a white light flash in front of their eyes. Then, they slowly widened their eyes. Bang, bang, bang. The 3 city guards fell to the ground in an orderly manner. In the sky above them, 2 red pieces of paper slowly floated towards the ground. Ah, someone died. A young girl next to them heard the sound and looked over. Her face was pale as she shouted. In an instant, everyone looked over. It's the city guards. It's 3 city guards. Why did they suddenly fall to the ground? What happened? Who saw it? Look at the red paper beside them. There are 2 red papers. It's a dragon Spike. Oh my god, it's a dragon Spike. The sound of exclamations rang out in an instant. Everyone looked over with faces full of shock. When they saw the 3 city guards lying on the ground, dressed in their city guard uniforms, looking at the 2 bright red pieces of paper on the ground, everyone's faces revealed shock. Oh my god, is this the dragon Spike's provocation to the city lord's mansion? This is too much, to actually assassinate city guards in broad daylight. Look at the words on that red piece of paper. They're openly challenging the city lord's manor. What is the dragon Spike trying to do? Everyone gathered over with faces full of shock, but they didn't dare to walk over. The ones who died were the city guards of the Eastern Sea City. They didn't dare to move recklessly. Move, move, move. In less than 5 minutes, more than 10 city guards flew over from the sky. An old man in the middle had a sullen face. His body was emitting a powerful murderous aura as he landed beside the 3 corpses. At this moment, there were already 4,000 to 5,000 people gathered here. Their faces were filled with shock as they watched. The old man walked to the side of the 3 city guards' corpses. With a glance, he knew that they had lost their vitality. He looked at the 2 bright red pieces of paper on the ground and picked them up with a dark expression. One of the red pieces of paper was the symbol of the dragon spike assassination. "Congratulations on your death." A line of words was written on the other red piece of paper. "The darkness has arrived. Whoever tries to stop it will be enveloped by it." The old man stared at the words on the red piece of paper and muttered. An angry expression appeared on his face. "What a good darkness has arrived. Whoever tries to stop it will be enveloped by it. What a good dragon spike." The old man clenched his fists tightly and growled in a low voice with an angry expression. "Put away their corpses," the old man said to his subordinates behind him with a gloomy face. "Yes, Captain." The 3 middle-aged men immediately walked over and picked up their corpses. "Return to the city lord's mansion," the old man shouted in a deep voice and directly flew towards the city lord's mansion. The city guards quickly followed. "Fuck, the darkness has already arrived. Whoever tries to stop it will be enveloped. This is the dragon spike declaring war on the city lord's mansion. This is too awesome." He directly declared war on an expert at the profound void realm. My God, where did this dragon spike get his confidence from? Awesome, awesome, awesome. An assassin organization declared war on the city lord's mansion of East Sea City. Is he trying to overturn the heavens? As the group of city guards left, the surroundings instantly boiled over. Assassinating the city guards of East Sea City on the street and even leaving a note to provoke the city lord's mansion. This was simply a blatant declaration of war. Fuck, look at the forum. 2 city guards in the central region were killed in public. It was also done by Dragon Spike. Just as a young man took out his communication stone plate and was about to spread the shocking news, he suddenly realized that Dragon Spike had also assassinated a city guard in the central region. Chapter 1032. It was boiling. The entire Eastern Sea City was boiling. For example, the arrival of the Dragon Spike in the past 2 days had turned the entire Eastern Sea City into boiling water. Then, the city lord's manor's attack on the dragon spike this morning was like adding fuel to the fire. Now, in the afternoon, the dragon spike had directly assassinated 10 city guards. This was considered a volcanic eruption. One explosive piece of news after another impacted everyone in Eastern Sea City. While everyone in Eastern Sea City was discussing the possibility that the dragon spike would be punished by the city lord's mansion, or even suppressed, the dragon spike had retaliated that afternoon and assassinated 10 city guards. Beside each city guard, there were 2 red pieces of paper. One congratulated death, and the other sent a message. The darkness had already arrived. Whoever stopped it would be enveloped by it. This short message was tantamount to a war against the city lord's manor. It wasn't the first time an assassin organization had openly dealt with a city lord's manor on the transcendental continent, but it was definitely the first time in Star Moon Kingdom. The storm came too quickly and too fiercely, catching everyone off guard. This dragon assassin organization is really unscrupulous. No wonder they dared to assassinate the mayor of Bridgewood Town on the street. They're awesome. I heard that when they were in Bridgewood Town, the Dragon Assassin organization once took the place of the mayor to enforce the law and stabilized Bridgewood Town. Now it seems that they dare to do anything. This is the first time I've heard of such a willful and arrogant assassin organization. The entire Eastern Sea City was once again in a heated discussion. It wasn't just the ordinary people. Even the large mercenary groups of the large families in Eastern Sea City were dumbstruck. This was too violent. If the city lord's mansion gave in the future, wouldn't they be the law enforcers in Eastern Sea City? Peng. Outrageous. An assassin organization actually dares to provoke the city lord's mansion and openly assassinate city guards. They're simply courting death. In the city lord's mansion, the city lord, who was usually calm and imposing, slammed the table in anger for the first time. Even though his aura was not released, the terrifying pressure still enveloped the entire hall. This caused the city guard's leaders and the people in charge of the various districts on both sides to not dare to breathe loudly. They stood in front with their heads lowered in fear. Beside them, 10 corpses were placed there, filled with mockery. Dragon Spike. The city lord stood up with a gloomy face and looked at everyone in front of him. Gather all the forces of the entire Eastern Sea City. Even if we have to dig 3 feet, we have to find this dragon spike. Don't let go of a single clue. It's the city lord. We definitely won't slack off. Everyone hurriedly said. The 10 city guards were assassinated in public. Did they leave any clues behind? The city lord's furious expression eased a little as he asked them in a deep voice. Reporting to the city lord, we didn't get any clues. From the monitoring of the formation, we didn't see any signs of action. An old man lowered his head as he spoke, his face was extremely embarrassed. And according to the news from Bridge Forest Town, this dragon assassin organization should be a special kind of demonic beast. It's possible that they are an organization established by a demonic beast race that specializes in assassinations. There's no information at all. Demonic beast? The city lord's eyes flickered with a dark expression as he said in a deep voice, increase the surveillance of the demonic beasts in East Sea City. If there are any signs, immediately arrest them. It's the city lord. Everyone replied in a deep voice. City lord. The entire hall was silent for a moment. The city guard leader hesitated for a moment before saying with a grave expression, City Lord, I'm afraid that this dragon spike will continue to assassinate our city guards. The city guard leader spoke out the worry in his heart. The dragon spike was clearly warning them now. However, if they did not catch the dragon spike and did not let go, they might continue to assassinate the city guards. As time went on, they could not afford to waste any more time. Send out all the city guards. A small team of 10 people. I don't believe that they won't leave any traces behind. Humph. The city lord's expression was gloomy as he clenched his fists. Dragon Spike, since you want to play, I, Lei Feihu, will accompany you. If I don't exterminate you, I, Lei Feihu, will lose face. Go out and prepare immediately. With a sweep of his arm, a few electric arcs landed on the red paper on the seat and disappeared. Not even ashes were left behind, and everything was obliterated. It's the city lord. Everyone was slightly startled, and they hurriedly walked out. This time, the city lord was completely enraged. It seemed that he would not stop until the dragon spike was either destroyed or driven away. Thinking about it, it made sense. A peerless expert whose might shook an entire region was provoked by an assassin organization. Anyone would be incomparably furious. I still have quite a number of treasures in my hands. If I don't include the bloodlines of the wind-winged savage fish, they are worth at least 1 billion middle-grade spirit stones. I have weapons, armor, formations, and elixirs. I have almost everything. Hee, if I were to destroy the Yun family, I would be able to hold an auction a few days later after obtaining the Yun family's treasures. Wang Xian sat in his room. The storm outside seemed to have nothing to do with him. No one knew that the person who stirred up the storm in the entire Donghai city was such a young man. Wang Xian was preparing for something. He was preparing to sell the bloodline of the winged savage fish and exchange it for spirit stones. Currently, the best way was to hold an auction. Right now, he had enough resources to hold an auction, but his ambition was a bit too big. He wanted to hold an auction at the same time as Feng Xian, the Life and Death Pill Workshop, and the Holy Item Forging Workshop. He wanted to attract all the customers they advertised. Although this move was a bit ruthless, it was also the most profitable time. However, at the moment, the various items in his hands seemed to be insufficient. However, he was not in a hurry. As long as he destroyed the Yun family, all the resources would be sufficient. By then, it would be sufficient to support the entire auction. By then, as long as he released his half-step void interpretation level bloodline, who wouldn't come? By then, the entire Donghai city would be in an uproar again. Perfect plan. Wang Xian was full of smiles. He looked at Ao Yao and said, Ao Yao, we will exterminate the Yun family tonight. You will be fine by yourself, right? Dragon King, it will be done in 20 minutes. Ao Yao said plainly. Damn, he even became arrogant. However, Wang Xian liked it. He liked Ao Yao's confidence. Get the head of the Yun family over here. I will perform soul absorption and find the Yun family's treasure. Be careful. I can't go over this time. Donghai City has already issued a curfew. Wang Xian said to Ao Yao with a smile on his face. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao nodded. The curfew forbade anyone from going out after 10 p.m. It forbade anyone from entering and leaving the city. The entire Donghai city had not had a curfew for more than 10 years. Chapter 1033, Earthshaking, 1/10. Wang Xian took out a number of weapons, armor, and spiritual herbs from his residence. There were also some materials for weapon refinement. Regardless of whether he obtained the equipment from the Du family or the Shi family, he could not take them out for auction directly to avoid being discovered by others. Therefore, Wang Xian modified all the weapons and armor. With his craftsmanship level, he could completely refine a weapon of extraordinary level 8. It was an easy task to modify it. There was only one level 9 weapon that he did not have the ability to modify. However, it was not a big deal. In addition, he could refine the blue stone from the territory of the wind-winged fish into weapons and equipment. Wang Xian was prepared to not sleep for the next few days. He would use all of it to refine weapons and elixirs. Tonight was a very special night for everyone in Donghai City. Curfew. Donghai City, which had not imposed a curfew for a very long time, had implemented a curfew today. Everyone had to return to their homes after 10 o'clock. They were prohibited from wandering outside. Otherwise, they would be deemed to have violated the order of Donghai City and would be punished severely. No one dared to touch the city lord's eyebrows here, not even those big families. Everyone knew that the city lord was furious this afternoon and vowed to destroy the dragon assassin organization. The entire Eastern Sea City was silent. However, the forums in Eastern Sea City became very lively. Everyone was discussing what had happened today. Millions of people were discussing whether the dragon spike would be destroyed or the city lord's mansion would submit. However, many people still hoped that the Dragon Spike Assassin organization would be destroyed. Because the existence of the Dragon Spike would break some of the balance in East Sea City. It was fine if I couldn't beat you, but I could hire the Dragon Spike to kill you. Many people hoped that the Dragon Spike would be surrounded by the City Lord's mansion. Of course, there were also many people who admired the Dragon Spike's behavior. At the very least, it was very awesome. Awesome was right. In a luxurious manner, the entire manor occupied at least 6,000 to 7,000 square meters. This was extremely rare in the entire Eastern Sea City. The manor had a small mountain that was 100 meters tall, and the entire manor was incomparably luxurious. Large amounts of spirit herbs were planted around it. Large arrays covered the entire area, and there were even 2 8th-grade arrays. There were no more than 5 such luxurious manors in East Sea City that could be compared to them. This was the Yun family, one of the top 10 families in East Sea City. It was definitely one of the top families in East Sea City. The Yun family started off as a mercenary group. Now, there were 5 mercenary groups under the Yun family, all of which were at least 3 gold stars. The atmosphere in the Yun family these few days was a little heavy. The most outstanding son of the Yun family head was killed, and 4 Transcendent Level 7 members were killed, which made the Yun family head furious. However, because of the incident with the dragon spike these 2 days, they didn't take any action. How is the situation of the kid that you asked to monitor? In the main hall of the Yun family head sat in the middle and said to the few elders in front of him. Family head, ever since the people we sent last time disappeared, we haven't sent anyone over. An elder said in a deep voice. Didn't I tell you to monitor that kid's every move? If he escapes, won't Hire's revenge never be avenged? The face of the head of the Yun family darkened as he asked coldly. Don't worry, family head. We have already informed the captains at the city gate. As long as that kid goes out, he will definitely be discovered. The old man who spoke did not show the slightest bit of panic. He slowly said, moreover, after today's incident, all the city guards of the entire Eastern Sea City will be mobilized. Anyone who sneaks around will be investigated. And, just don't let that kid escape. The face of the family head of the Yun family softened. A dragon assassin organization actually dares to provoke City Lord Lei. They are really courting death. This dragon assassin is extremely arrogant. I wonder if he has any trump cards. The old man said in a deep voice. Pitch, what trump cards can he have? Not to mention the city lord's residence, if that dragon assassin appeared in front of us, I would be able to exterminate them. The Yun family head's face was filled with confidence as he spoke. He directly stood up and waved at the surrounding people. Go back and rest. It's the head of the family. After everyone left, the head of the Yun family also walked into his own house. He called for his 2 little wives and started exercising. Today, Donghai City was very quiet. Many people slept very early and only the city guards were patrolling around. At dawn, the entire Donghai City didn't show any signs of abnormality. However, after dawn, a black shadow suddenly appeared from the Yun family's place. Following that, the black shadow slowly became blurry. However, everything returned to normal as if nothing had happened. I'm rich this time. In the second half of the night, Wang Xian was at his residence. He looked at the items in his interspatial ring and his eyes lit up. Just the middle-grade spirit stones alone were worth 1.5 billion. All kinds of weapons, equipment, spiritual herbs, elixirs, and various materials were worth at least 1 billion. There were also some weird items. It was not an exaggeration to say that the items here were worth at least 3 billion middle-grade spirit stones. These were all the treasures that he obtained from the Yun family. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes. With these resources, the auction could be held in a few days. At that time, the Life and Death Elixir Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop as well as Feng Xian would be out of luck. The auction is over. After this, I will find a place to transfer the Dragon Palace to the Transcendence Continent. Wang Xian laughed. This time, he was really excited. Next, I will prepare for the auction. Wang Xian immediately started to forge equipment and refine pills. The curfew was maintained until 5 in the morning. For those who went to bed early the day before, it was not too early to wake up at 5 in the morning. I'm suffocating. Let's hurry up and take a walk. Beside the Yun family was another famous family in Donghai City. The family had an extraordinary level 9 powerhouse. Although their overall strength was slightly weaker than the Yun family, it was not much weaker. At 5 in the morning, 2 young masters with folding fans walked out of the mansion and headed towards the central area. Sigh, why is the Yun family painted red? The two young masters played with their fans while one of them looked around with a frivolous gaze. When he saw the big red piece of paper on the door of the Yun family, he said curiously. However, before he could finish his words, he completely froze and a shocked expression appeared on his face. Congratulations on the death of the dragon Spike. The Yun family, the door of the Yun family, how is this possible? A shocked voice came from his mouth. Something big has happened. Another young man looked over and shouted with a face full of shock. Ah! At this moment, the main gate of the Yun clan opened with a loud bang. Several members of the Yun clan cried out in fear. The old master and the others were actually killed. Chapter 1034, World Overturning, 2/10. Boom! Did you guys know that the Yun family was destroyed by the dragon Spike? The Yun family was actually destroyed by the dragon Spike. Of course we heard about it. The Yun family, the head of the Yun family is a transcendent level 9 powerhouse. I heard that even their corpse has not been found yet. The dragon Spike, it's the dragon Spike. The dragon Spike was actually able to destroy the Yun family. This is simply inconceivable. The Yun family's strength can be ranked in the top 10 of our Eastern Sea city, yet it was actually destroyed by the dragon Spike in a single night. No one discovered it. The Yun family head's younger sister married the Thunder City Lord. Could it be that the dragon Spike is taking revenge on the Thunder City Lord again? It's very possible. Yesterday, the dragon Spike no longer accepted the mission, but he destroyed the Yun family at night. This must be a warning to the Thunder City Lord. If it can even destroy the Yun family's dragon Spike, which family in East Sea City cannot be dealt with by the dragon Spike? It was crazy. It was boiling. It was shocking. When the Yun family's door was affixed with a large red piece of paper congratulating them on their death, when this news spread out. In the quiet morning of East Sea City, there was no doubt that a ferocious giant dragon had been placed in the city. The entire city was shocked. What happened today was far more shocking than what happened yesterday. The Yun family was one of the top 10 families in the Eastern Sea City. If such a family was destroyed, then wouldn't the dragon Spike be invincible in the Eastern Sea City? Perhaps only the City Lord's mansion didn't have the strength to charge in. But although the dragon Spike didn't dare to enter, he wasn't afraid at all. He even provoked them one after another. Yesterday, it assassinated 10 city guards on the street. Today, it destroyed the family of the Thunder City Lord's second son. This was simply too violent. Dragon Spike, Dragon Spike, Dragon Spike. Boom! Within the City Lord's mansion, Lei Feihu roared 3 times in a row. The table beside him instantly turned into black powder. A group of Eastern Sea City officials trembled as they stood in front of him. They lowered their heads and didn't dare to speak. Did you find any traces? Lei Feihu widened his eyes. His entire body was like a ball of lightning, as if it could explode at any moment. Everyone felt as if they were about to die at any moment. Reporting to the City Lord, the array surveillance only saw a black shadow. There were no other traces. An old man braced himself and said in a low voice, "My guess is that this demonic beast race should have a powerful concealment ability, and they can also perfectly crack the array." No traces. No traces. Lei Feihu glared over, his face extremely gloomy. City Lord, this opponent is too cunning, we have no way to deal with him. The old man felt Lei Feihu's pressure and said with a trembling voice. If the dragon Spike could assassinate the Yun family, it might be able to assassinate them. Today, I will personally supervise the city. I don't believe that they can kill people right under my nose. Lei Feihu's gaze was cold. His body moved and he instantly appeared in the air. A large hole was directly opened on the roof of the City Lord's manor. They could faintly see that the City Lord was coldly scanning his surroundings from 10,000 meters up in the air. personally supervising the city. The city lord personally supervising the city. One could imagine how furious he was. Let's go. We will follow. The city lord can only monitor an area of about 80 kilometers. Leave the rest to us. An old man gritted his teeth and said to the people around him. All right. The group of 6 nodded. They were all extraordinary 9th rank experts, and they could monitor an area of about 10 kilometers while floating in the air. It was enough to make up for the city lord's blind spot. The group of people with the most authority in East Sea City all flew into the sky. They were personally supervising the city. If the people in Donghai City knew about this, they would be dumbfounded. This Yun family actually has such a relationship with the city lord. I really didn't know about this. In the morning, Wang Xian, who had been refining pills and weapons for more than 10 hours, walked into a restaurant and ordered some dishes. When he heard the discussion of the people around him, he revealed a stunned expression. He didn't expect the Yun family to have such a relationship with the city lord. Furthermore, it had caused such a huge misunderstanding. This was beyond his expectations. However, this is a good thing. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly. He ate some food and heard the discussion of the people around him. An hour later, he returned to his residence with a relaxed expression. Ao Yao, there are 20 city guards today. Long Yi, in the afternoon, the dragon spike will begin accepting the mission. Wang Xian ordered Ao Yao and the Draconid. In the morning, he would assassinate another 20 city guards and in the afternoon, he would accept the mission. If the mayor's residence still dared to deal with the dragon spike, that would be great. Tomorrow, there would be 40 or even 80 city guards. Ao Yao could choose to assassinate the city guards. Ao Yao was now a complete species of thorn dragons. She could tell if a person was good or bad. For this assassination, Wang Xian would not implicate innocent good people. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yao and the Draconid immediately nodded respectfully. The weather today was a little gloomy. In fact, due to the proximity to the ocean, there was a lot of rain in Donghai City. The weather today was a little gloomy, but it did not rain heavily. I heard that the Pang family and the Jiang family are negotiating in the ancient mountain restaurant today. In the future, both sides are not allowed to interfere with each other's business. Both sides are not allowed to hire the Dragon Assassin organization. It's not just the Pang family and the Jiang family. Even the Zhu family and the Wang family are negotiating too. The Yun family has been wiped out. Who cannot be wiped out by the Dragon Assassin organization? Now, if both sides have a grudge, there are only 2 ways to resolve it. One is to reconcile, and the other is to contact the Dragon Assassin organization as soon as possible in the future and kill the opponent. It's hard to say now. Maybe the city lord will destroy the dragon spike. Some families are still waiting to see what will happen. At a stall on the side of the street, a few people were talking unscrupulously. Around them, a small team of 10 city guards was looking around vigilantly. At this moment, it was as if someone was ambushing them, looking around vigilantly. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they felt that it was very funny. However, they did not dare to ridicule and could only hold it in. This also caused many people to sigh. An assassin organization actually forced a city lord's mansion to such an extent. It was rarely seen since ancient times. Fuck. However, very quickly, no one could laugh. All of their faces revealed terrified expressions. 8 out of the 10 city guards suddenly fell to the ground. There was a bloody mark on their necks. Bang, bang, bang. The surroundings instantly fell silent. Each and every one of them seemed to be frozen as they looked over in a daze. They had suddenly died. There were no signs at all. This time was different from yesterday. This time, because the 10 city guards were more vigilant, everyone was secretly watching. However, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, 8 city guards fell to the ground. Death. Strange. Strange. Everyone felt a chill on their backs. Chapter 1035, Dead Silence in Donghai City, 3/10. A gust of cold wind blew through the dark sky. Everyone around couldn't help but wrap their clothes around themselves. Gulp. At this moment, the only 2 city guards standing there had cold sweat on their foreheads. They widened their eyes and looked at the 8 colleagues who had fallen beside them. They felt numb all over. How did they die? Who saw it? Who saw it? Why did blood suddenly appear on their necks and then fall to the ground in an instant? Could it be a transcendent level 9 powerhouse? But there wasn't even a shadow. Even a transcendent level 9 powerhouse wouldn't be so fast. The shocked voices of the passers-by rang out in the surroundings. The sound of swallowing saliva was also very clear. Everyone widened their eyes and looked at the surroundings. 8 corpses fell to the ground again. How can this be? Ghosts? Ghosts? The 2 who were standing crouched down with their bodies trembling. One of them took out his communication stone plate in panic. They felt as if they had brushed past the Grim Reaper. And, over there. However, at this moment, Lei Feihu and City Lord Lei, who were standing 10,000 meters high in the sky and overlooking the entire area, suddenly had a change in expression as they looked down. He was flying towards them at a terrifying speed. Boom! When the figure of a void interpretation expert appeared here, even if it was just overflowing with a trace of aura, everyone around felt that it was like a huge mountain peak flying over. When the people in the surroundings saw this figure, their breathing stopped. It was the City Lord. City Lord Lei. City Lord Lei, we. When the 2 city guards who were still alive saw the City Lord arrive, their bodies could not help but directly kneel on the ground, their faces filled with terror. Lei Feihu did not speak. He walked over and looked at the city guards who had already lost their vitality, tightly clenching his fists. He looked down at the entire area and used all his strength to sense everything below. He actually did not discover how they died. One had to know that he was a peak insightful emptiness realm expert. Crackle crackle. Lei Feihu's expression was solemn. In the sky, a terrifying lightning suddenly lit up. The lightning reached the top of Lei Feihu's head and disappeared. Ah! When everyone saw this scene, they could not help but retreat. Some of the timid girls let out a cry of surprise. Get up and bring the corpses back. Lei Feihu's face was as gloomy as the sky as he roared in a low voice. Yes, it's the City Lord. The 2 city guards hurriedly stood up and brought the 8 corpses away, walking towards the City Lord's mansion. Lei Feihu did not say a word, and directly flew towards the City Lord's mansion. This time, he did not discover anything, which also meant that he had failed to supervise the city. The dragon spike could kill people right under his nose. Or, he could discover the assassin of the dragon spike at close range. But the Eastern Sea City was so big. How could the dragon spike be so stupid as to kill people beside him? This made him extremely furious, but at the same time, he also felt a little powerless. However, not long after, at the western and northern regions, another 12 city guards were killed. The level 9 transcendent of the city surveillance brought the corpses back to the City Lord's mansion with fear in his eyes. They were completely defeated. Both they and the City Lord were completely defeated. This Dragon Spike assassin organization was too powerful. The 20 corpses were placed in the City Lord's mansion, and the entire hall was deathly silent. Lei Feihu sat there with a solemn expression and did not say a word. The other 6 did not even dare to say a word. It's too terrifying. The Dragon Assassin organization is simply too terrifying. They killed 20 city guards without making a sound. Moreover, it was under the gaze of tens of thousands of people. Even a rank 6 transcendent expert could not see that someone had taken action. After the dragon assassin assassinated 20 city guards, City Lord Lei and the City Lord's mansion's managers directly flew over from the sky. What does this mean? This means that City Lord Lei personally monitored the entire Eastern Sea City today, but still did not find the killer. This dragon spike is too terrifying. My God, even City Lord Lei himself did not manage to capture the killer. Then in the future, in Eastern Sea City, who else cannot be assassinated by the dragon spike? I really didn't expect that the confrontation between the City Lord's mansion and the dragon spike would actually result in the City Lord's mansion being completely defeated. You did not see at that time that a bolt of heavenly lightning descended from the sky. You can imagine how furious City Lord Lei was. The atmosphere in Eastern Sea City was a bit strange. If it was a ball of fire in the early morning, it was already a bit dead silent now. This kind of atmosphere was like watching a ghost movie and listening to a ghost story. The scene today was indeed like watching a horror movie for many people. A group of city guards were assassinated under the gaze of thousands of people. There was no trace of the assassin. It was as if the ghost was the devil making a move. Some people even guessed that the dragon assassin group was established by the ghost. Was it established by the devil? Otherwise, how could it be so strange? But soon, some busybodies discovered that the 3 city guards who were assassinated, those who did not die, had better reputations. The city guards with kinder hearts. And those who died were those who had done bad things and had bad reputations. This made everyone think of the rules of the Dragon Assassin organization. Don't kill good people. Be it ghosts or devils, at least this Dragon Assassin organization has its own bottom line and rules. It's much better than many assassin organizations. Some people let out a sigh of relief. Dark clouds were pressing down on the city. At this moment, everyone's mood was similar to today's weather. The Dragon Assassin organization suddenly pressed down on many people until they couldn't breathe. The Dragon Assassin organization actually sent out a message that they're accepting a mission from now on. Suddenly, a deep water bomb was thrown over, igniting the strange atmosphere in Eastern Sea City once again. The Dragon Assassin organization actually started accepting missions? Don't tell me they're not afraid of being besieged by the City Lord's mansion. 2 consecutive days of threats and warnings. This time, the Dragon Spike is testing the City Lord's mansion's attitude. I can guarantee that with the Dragon Spike's personality, if the City Lord's mansion dares to deal with their spies today, even more people might die tomorrow. Even the Thunder City Lord can't do anything about it. Are we going to continue to go against the Dragon Spike? Everyone spoke one after another, and the entire Eastern Sea City became lively once again. There were tens of thousands of messages in the forum every second, and all of them were discussing. However, at this moment, when the tens of thousands of city guards of Eastern Sea City saw this message, their expressions instantly became unsightly. With City Lord Lei's personality, he wouldn't give up so easily after being slapped in the face. And once City Lord Lei didn't give up, the Dragon Spike would assassinate them. They did not dare to guarantee that they were truly a good person, and the Dragon Spike would not kill them. Seeing this news, the city guards were a little silent, and started to whisper among themselves. They did not want to die, and they did not want to be killed without anyone knowing. Facing the Dragon Spike, the city guards had completely lost their fighting spirit. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.